up? Sorry if that was loud. I was like, wow, I forget how loud that opening is when it comes to all this stuff. But hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Patreon stream. That's right. It's been a little bit. We didn't have one of these streams for December because December was just crazy. It was just crazy. And it just seemed like I just didn't have a moment to fit this in there. So that's good. So at least but it's December. What can you expect? So we'll have one. We're having one right now, and if you guys want to be a part of it, like I said, the link for the Patreon's down below. I'll be posting the link shortly right here to get the patrons here, which is always great, and which I love the fact that we have a community that supports each other. So anyways, so yeah, and Eric, yes, so much to talk about, so much. What's going on, Mr. Venom? We got Lisa. What is happening? Let's get nuts. Play that for me. Let's see. It's looking at my list of stuff. Can I find it? I don't. Where do I even have that on here? I thought I did. Ah, crap. Where is it at? My brain can't. Where's it at? I know I have it here. Where is it at? There it is.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
There you go. Let's get nuts. What's going on, Tet? Good to see ya. I got Stephanie T right here. Okay. Hello again, Mama Film Junkie is here. Good to see you. Okay, Patreon is great. Well, I'm trying. One of the things with the Patreon, obviously it's like it's always going to be changing and not changing, but if you're a part of the Patreon, like when I hear things from the world of the movies, mainly from like a friend or even other sources too, I'll just be like, hey, I'll post it on the Patreon, just as like, hey, here's it's what I heard, and then eventually I do talk about it on Film Junkie Live. So yeah, what's going on, Collector? Good to see you. Of course, we got the playoffs happening right now, NFL playoffs. We got of course the Bengals and the Ravens right now playing. So we'll see what happens with that. I think I just saw someone's butt crack on slow motion replay. Interesting, gotta love that. Yeah, they're playing right now. Congratulations to the Niners, to the Jaguars. That was a crazy game. The Jaguars, and then of course the Giants, the New York Giants. Oh, he didn't get it. Oh, there's a flag. Wow, crazy. But anyways, so who else played today? What are the other teams that played today? There was another game. I'm trying to remember. Totally drawing a blank, but NFL playoffs. Exciting. Always exciting. So okay. But anyways, cheers, guys. When it came to the Fandom stream, Scott was drinking a beer, and I didn't have a drink, but now I have a drink for this one for sure. So, Tet, I did not see your trailer. Go ahead, and if you want to send it to me, send it to me. So, but I did not see it. If you posted it on Twitter, I did not catch it. So yeah. Whoa. Sorry, clicked the wrong thing right there. Yeah, but send it to me if you can. Oh yeah, that's right. The Bills and the Dolphins. Congratulations to the Bills, which I think we all kind of assumed the Bills were going to win, but hey, at least it was a pretty good game. Yeah, so just sat through a heated argument between friends, so I can't wait to see what you're. Oh, I don't think it'll get heated. Hopefully not. So what was I gonna say? Crap, totally forgot. I don't know, but all right. I don't know what I was gonna say. I have Sunday night brain. Sunday brain is what's happening. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna send the link to you guys over on the Patreon. Link it up. Okay, post it. Pete. Okay, hold on. Oh, you stupid thing. Come on. No, like a lot of people are watching Last of Us right now. I think that's what I was going to talk about. Which a lot of people are actually. I have not really seen any negative Last of Us reviews or reactions, to be honest. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to watch it. Hopefully I'll be able to watch it sometime. Who knows when? But maybe I'll be able to give a little review to the first episode tomorrow on Film Junkie Live. So, all right, here, yeah, go, here you go. Okay, posting that. Do I got everything? We're good. Yep. Publish. All right, so there you go. Sent off. Sent off. All right. Let's see. Always liked, yeah. Did you see the new DC Gold capsule T-shirts? No, I did not. Didn't see that either. I don't. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. So, send me a link. Send me a link. Send me a picture, or whatever the hell that is. I don't even know what that is. DC Gold capsule. Maybe I did, and I just don't remember. I don't know. Because sometimes I just scroll through Twitter and I'm just like, huh? What happened? Huh? Who knows? It's raining right now. It's still raining in SoCal like crazy. Just raining like crazy. It's not letting up. It's supposed to rain all the way through tomorrow, and then we're going to get more rain later on the week. I mean, I guess we need it, right? I guess we need it. But anytime we get a bunch of rain, there's always like that thing where it's like SoCal is not ready for it. They're just not ready for it. They're not ready for. There's always like floods and we got a state of emergency and all that stuff. It's just, yeah, as much as we always need it because we're always in, like, it seems like we're always in a drought. It's like, man, but then once we do get it, it's like, well, yeah, then it's too much. It's always too much. Yeah. Like this damn thing. It's like, you got the ocean right there. Come on. So, all right. Yeah. And, yeah. And another thing, I'm going to be plugging this movie like crazy because we were even talking about it on Fanimated stream, was the fact that it's like, hey, don't sleep on A Man Called Otto. I'm just saying, don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on that movie. Really don't. That was pretty excellent movie. Saw it last night, and I got choked up, teary-eyed. Tom Hanks' performance was great. Yeah, so don't sleep on that movie. I don't know why it's not even being talked about as much, but I'm actually pretty surprised that not a lot more people are talking about that movie, because even Scott was like, obviously Scott, he's read the book twice apparently, but man, I tell you what, really good. I haven't read the book, but really good. The Swedish version is A Man Called, yeah. Oh, you can't join tonight, Jose? What the heck? I figured on Sundays you could. Darn. I thought you could. I really thought you were going to. Yeah. Sorry. Man. I figured Sunday, you're always better with Sundays. Shit. Well, that sucks. It's all good. You'll be here in spirit. So, anyways, all right. Let's start bringing some people on here. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you can't argue with Eric this time, because I know how much you guys love each other. Anyways, what's going on, Eric?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. It's like based on when we were going to do the vodka stream, or as it turns out, not do the vodka stream, was going to determine what drink I was going to bring for the night. Because if it was December, I actually would have gotten some eggnog. I'd actually bought every week that month. I got like a couple jugs of eggnog prepared for that weekend, and it never happened. So whatever. And then
it happens.
Yeah, and then after Christmas, I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll get some sparkling wine or something for New Year's. And I was thinking, hey, maybe we could do a New Year's stream because, I don't know, Saturday, whatever. Didn't happen. But then I was like, you know what? It's January. You know what? I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to I'm going to have an actual pina colada with some rum. This is Admiral Nelson's premium rum.
Interesting.
And this is the pina colada mix that actually has the authentic ingredients instead of some fake junk. No, this has actual pineapple juice and cream of coconut.
Yeesh. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, there you go.
Ugh. Sounds tangy.
Yeah, it is. It is, but apparently that's why the recipe recommends it better be with a whole lot of ice because like the water smooths it down, evens it out.
Interesting.
Yeah, it actually works pretty well.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead and mix it up. Mix it up. There you
go. All right. So so basically 3 ounces worth and for just 1 ounce of rum. All right.
1 ounce of rum.
Yeah.
I'd go 2, but that's just me.
Well, yeah, I know. It's a 3-to-1 ratio. So if you want 2 ounces of rum, you get 6 ounces of the mix.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you gonna? Okay. And then what? And then you have a mixer thing. Okay. I was about to say. I was like,
yeah,
you're not shaking it up.
No, I'm just gonna like basically a little bit of the other mix, then a little bit of the rum, then a little bit more of the mix.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm gonna live dangerously. How about that?
Do it. Well, cheers, man.
Yeah. By the way, I forgot. What was it you said you had?
Oh, I just have my little vodka spritzer. That's all.
Very nice.
Vodka spritzer, just vodka and yeah. Is that got a kick to it?
It's funny. You said how like you said with the pineapple juice and the cream of coconut does have that bite to it, but darned if the rum does not smooth it out. It smooths it out a bit. I'm surprised by that.
Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, I guess if it's like a little too tangy, it's gonna suppress a little bit. That's good.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So what's going on, man? How you doing?
Well, okay. I mean, we've been hoping because as you probably noticed from like the lack of my talking about it for this past year, like we did Sunset of the Gods did hit kind of a rough point for much of the year and all that because but
if anybody's wondering, it's the motion comic that you
exactly because like we were kind of hoping because like one of the guys like who was hoping to was trying to do the old motion comic but then was like left out to dry by the what's his face but then he's like, no, I want to do this for real. So it's like then they brought me in to do it to help write for it. So it's like, okay, fine. But the funny thing is that bit by bit, that guy, the guy that brought me in, then said, no, I got to leave because I got to focus on school. So basically, I'm now leading this thing. God help us all. Yeah, I know. But we're kind of hoping because honestly, with this whole. Because we were wondering, it's like, is it even worth it anymore? Because really what was giving us energy was like people, when we kept announcing, people kept coming in and says, hey, I'd like to take part. Hey, I'd like to voice or whatever. And then people just pretty much just stop showing up, stop applying. And then it's like, okay, well, we need more characters. Like, because people were asking us, hey, how long is it going to take for you? Hey, when are you guys going to get to production? I was like, that depends on you. When you guys, I mean, the more people come in, that's the fact sooner it's going to actually get in gear. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, but at the same time, it's like when it comes to the artist side of the whole thing, if you're gonna do all that, I mean, obviously, like when it, but when it comes to voices, I mean, I can see like people being involved with it, but then if there's, I think like probably one of the biggest things is like if there doesn't seem like there's much in motion of like
that's the thing. It's such a debate, which is why. But honestly, here's the thing. Now that like with the whole like reboot thing and everyone's kind of like now what we were talking about is like this may actually give us ironically the boost that we need. You say, hey guys, if it's not going to happen in Warner Brothers, maybe we should actually go the extra mile in getting this done now, which is why I think I can actually announce this, but we have been talking about, we've been giving very serious thought to, you know what? For the longest time, we were saying, no, we're just doing it for free. It's just going to be a fan project. But, and honestly, looking at Nicotina's Project Justice League and how he did it was like the fundraiser, and it's like, and it was to AFS, is fundraising for EFSP too. So it's like, maybe we should do that because we need to, because in order to get people because there were a couple times where when we needed some editors, and there's some potential editors for coming in, but it's like, if we had no payment for them, then why would they want to take part, spend all that time for doing this for free? I don't think so. So we may have to do that, but just like with Project Comic-Con, if we do it, half the money goes to AFSP and half the money goes to production. We may have to do that. Yeah.
I mean, do whatever you need to do. But I know it's difficult because you need, I mean, even like with Aaron, we had Aaron Bailey, of course, on Friday, and he's got his project that's going to be, the motion comic for Night of the Batman.
Yeah.
But, it's pretty cool.
Honestly, like the more motion comics, the better, honestly, because look, this really should, I think I think we all are going to talk about this more, but look, if Warner Brothers is not going to give us the Snyderverse, we might as well make it instead.
That's what I keep on saying. It's just like, okay, if I like the fact that there's, fans and whatever that are just kind of like, doing spin-off stories and everything, Project Justice League is like, they're basically setting the base of all that. So hopefully there could be more. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, especially if it's gonna raise some money for AFSB. 100%.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, absolutely. Because the reason that we didn't want to raise any money was because we didn't want that light cast stigma on us after we had just okay, they were raising all that money, then they cheated everybody out of it. So it's like, no, we don't want to do. That's why for the longest time we were saying, no, this is just a fan thing. We're doing it by ourselves. And then it's like, but Project Justice League, I gotta give this eternal gratitude to Nicotina, for doing this, and it's great. And he raised money for it, but it's like to AFSP too, and and honestly, if he can do it, honestly, I think we can do it too.
I don't remember. Hopefully. Was there money that was raised for the production too? I thought it was all.
At the very least, it was for AFSP.
Yeah,
but
it
look,
was always that.
Yeah, and there's that. But it's like, well, to be fair though, we're actually going. This is a full-on series. It's not the synopsis brought to the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're actually doing a full multi-episode drama of this event. We're writing this whole thing.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, wait a minute, I don't think they actually raised money for production.
Yeah, you didn't raise for production, but it's look, if we are going to raise money for production, then it's going to have to be, we're going to have to raise an equal amount for AFSP.
Yeah. Oh yeah, match it. Yeah.
Exactly. We got to do that.
But you got to figure out how much you're going to need for production, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the difficult.
Yeah.
That's a difficult part. But, even with Aaron, he said, I mean, obviously it's basically, well, even what Andre and Ryan have said is the fact that, they were doing this on their own time. So, sometimes you just got to have the hearts of, but I know you're saying you're doing a series thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you, how much have you have mapped out when it comes to all that?
We have more or less, what we do is I believe we have 8 episodes laid out, because what we're doing right now is Justice League 2. And from the synopsis, where the cliffhanger, of course, is Barry going back in time and so on. Going back in time to do the final warning. But we have 8 episodes in mind for that. And I have, a quick little synopsis of the first 4 episodes in details, and the next 4 episodes have quick little, a few word sentences, but we kind of have that in mind. But yeah, and the idea is most of it, I don't know how much I can go into without spoiling it, but
Well, yeah, you don't want to spoil it, but I was just wondering, like, if you had scripts, dialogue, all the stuff.
Yeah, I have several scenes. I have certain scenes written out, but as far as a full script, not quite. I mean, remember I said like way back, it's like we're kind of like we bring the actors in, they'll help shape their characters and all that. But maybe I should just what, screw it. If I'm gonna wait so long for them to do it, might as well.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need. I mean,
Really?
get the story, get the scripts first, and then I mean, that's always when it comes to an actual series or a movie, you always get that first, and then you get the talent that's involved. Because it helps. Exactly. It helps to when it comes to getting talent to have like what exactly is this thing going to be. That you can actually have a script provided to those people. So.
Hey, seriously, Jose, do you even know me? Do you honestly think I would do that?
I think he's fucking. I think.
Yeah, you said better not do that, Bruce and Lois. It's like, dude.
Nah, he's just doing that.
Oh yeah,
doing that to push your butt.
Yeah, I know. And so is Zed too. But seriously, yeah, that is. Yeah.
I mean, that was in the storyboards,
Yeah, I know. And I keep emphasizing, and I just keep emphasizing it. No, in fact, and just after the Snyder Cut finally came out, like there were these interviews that Zach had where he actually specifically said, no, now it's Clark's kid who takes on Bruce's mantle because Bruce died saving his mom when his mom was pregnant with him.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, it all changed. But at one point, it was just in the storyboards when they were coming up with it. They just had ideas that they put out.
Exactly.
And that's what Project Justice League was trying to do. It was just going, but based on all that. And even Zach said on the Vodka stream, he said, like, hey, if if he doesn't get his sequels, that's going to be the closest thing to it, apparently, So, yeah.
Although I don't know, have you noticed? Did you notice, by the way, like, and I posted it in our in the mod chat for the Film Junkie live stream, that I did a poll this week, like, because what you said before about how because when you and I both agreed that look, if Warner Brothers would ever sell the rights to do like a sequel to Zack's Justice League, it would probably be animated. So I put it up to a poll, says, okay, everybody who's giving these hashtags, keeping that in mind, and keeping in mind that the best argument you could give for, well, why would they sell the rights to their IPs? Well, they did it they're doing it for Cape Crusader. Well, yeah, but Cape Crusader's animated. Okay, so with that in mind, would you accept the idea that if you really want them to sell the rights to it, probably the only way that's going to happen is if it's animated in some way? Would you accept that? I gave the poll out. And right now, it's like 50% says heck and says no, live action or die. But the other half is like split between, well, if it's very good or I don't know. And then the other option is like one that I was like, I've been trying to nudge people in the direction of is, look, if it's animated, it would be cool if Zach took a cue from Robert Zemeckis. And I did not think about this until I was watching, my Christmas movie lineup, and I was watching Polar Express again, and I was watching, his the Jim Carrey version of A Christmas Carol, and I was like, this very realistic form of animation. I was watching these movies and I was like, and especially the fact that those movies came out years ago, it's like we are probably at, if not close to the point where you could really simulate live action with animation. I mean, you do that. It's a video game kind of style too nowadays. I mean, someone brought up, Love, Death, and Robots, right? Like at least one of the segments is very realistic animation. So it's like that could happen. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but the cost goes up, though.
Yeah, the cost goes up, but there's the issue of, look, if animation is the only way to get Warner Brothers to sell the rights to this to a streaming service, whether it's Netflix or Amazon or what have you, okay, animation fine. It's just a lot of people who were so invested in this is like, look, after seeing this, after enjoying it in live action, suddenly we're going to go animation. But I really feel like if they were to go that realistic Robert Zemeckis style route, yeah, it would go down a lot easier for a lot of people.
Yeah, but how much? Okay, let's look at this here. I actually want to look at this. I want to see the budget of the Polar
Yeah.
Express.
Yeah, let's look at
budget. Yeah. Let's see, budget of Polar Express, 150 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're thinking about that's just the Polar Express. I mean, obviously it had Tom Hanks and everything, and it had all that. So, I mean, this would still be inflated a little bit when it comes to obviously it's Justice League. It's not it's not the Polar Express. It's Justice League. So you have that too. You have people. You have not just one superstar. You have multiple superstars.
Which is why I would say if we could then go to Robert Zemeckis's Christmas Carol, because it doesn't, instead of Polar Express pretty much just having Tom Hanks, Christmas Carol has Jim Carrey and Gary Oldman and Robin Wright and some other folks too. Like, so I would imagine therefore the budget would be a lot harder, right? Because there's more stars in it.
Yeah, probably. And let's see what that one was. 200 million. That
200
was 200 million. So I mean, that's the thing. It's just And when you had an account of like that money, because man, that's why I said, that's why I keep on saying, like, why Netflix? Amazon would be the better choice when it comes to this.
Yeah, I mean, heck, like what's his face, like what's his name, like Bezos. I'm pretty sure Bezos has all that money to do it, much more so than the heads of Netflix right now.
Well, they're canceling things left and right.
Exactly.
They're canceling things crazy. They have a cash flow problem. I mean, they're, and that's the thing. But Amazon, has money because they have Amazon to back up Amazon Prime.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and to us, Stephanie and Zed, they keep telling us we should move on. Some people do, but not us.
Who said that? Oh,
they're saying, we need to stop with the Snyderverse. Well, look, again, if it is the only way we're going to see it, it's the only way we're going to see it. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm very much in the middle of all that where I'm like, they're not going to do that. But if there's like any kind of like hope when it comes to all that stuff, it's like, it would not be live action. Definitely wouldn't be live action.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the realistic style of animation is essentially the perfect way to cheat. I mean, like what you're saying is that it has the same budget as if it were live action. But if it's the only way for Zach and crew to do it, then it is essentially a cheat. But it's a cheat they can't stop.
The other way would be a graphic novel. That would be another way.
Yeah, graphic novel, but
graphic novel. Zach did pitch. He said he pitched at one point to complete it. And you never know, that could happen too. I mean, look what happened. Like with they have Superman 78, Batman 89. That was kind of continuing those stories with with comic.
But the thing is, graphic novels is the easiest way out, arguably. But it's also like after seeing it live as a movie, as after actually seeing it on the screen, then we're basically getting this. And yes, it's better than nothing, but it's just better than nothing.
Yeah. I mean, but that's true. It's better than nothing. I mean, one of the hardest things, I mean, that's what's so funny when it comes to all this. I mean, obviously we had the huge W that was Snyder Cut, and we got it out. Great. And I and a lot of people have like, hey, they took that as a win. Anything else would be a bonus because it was such a thing to get the Snyder Cut out, but anything else would be just a bonus. So I think that's why when it comes to some people, and I've said this many times, where I'm like, the further we get away from it, the further like some of these guys are going to get crazier. And the fact of the matter is like now it's like, okay, so we got the Snyder Cut out, and there is some people just think like, oh, we can achieve anything. And it's like, it's not the same beast. Like there was literally 70% of a movie that was complete that Zach had at his disposal that we were like fighting to get out, to try to get everything when it comes to Snyderverse back, that's gonna take Dr. Manhattan to fucking do, because I mean, let's face it, we got things. I mean, look, you got the Ezra situation, you got the Ray Fisher situation, you got now the Henry Cavill situation. You got so many different things that they have to take account of that, and so I'm just kind of going like, man. And then there was like even times where they were turning on Cavill because he didn't post the release the Snyder Cut hashtag during the big push for it back in 2019. And then it was like Ben Affleck, when they were saying that Michael Keaton was the new DCU Batman rumor, they're like, well, just recast Batfleck if he doesn't want to do it. Okay. And then I've seen people turn on Ray Fisher, turn on Ezra Miller. I'm like, okay, so who do we want? Do you guys want the whole crew to come back, or do you just that's where I've fallen flat when it came to like a lot of this. I'm like, I don't know what you guys want anymore.
By the way, like you gotta love, for the past several years, they've had people who have been trashing, the Snyder Cut, saying the Snyder Cut is dead, bury it. And now we got people on the chat saying the Snyderverse is dead, bury it. I'm like, guys, to everyone throughout the past few years who've been saying this, you do realize that when you're quoting Clark, and when Clark is saying it, he's wrong.
Well, and then not to mention the Flash is still going to have Snyderverse in it.
I know.
So, yeah.
It's like, it's like the bat is dead, bury it. Yeah, Superman was wrong when he said about Batman. So I think you're quoting the wrong thing, people.
Well, I mean, when it comes to more Snyderverse, we're still going to get that in the Flash big time.
Yeah, exactly.
I always express too. It's like, hey, that's gonna have the most Snyderverse in it. I know when people heard details about what's gonna be happening with it, they're like, yeah, but if they're gonna kill baby Clark or something like that, if that's gonna be something that's gonna be happening, it's a Flashpoint story. So when things get wonky, guess what happens? Like if you actually know the Flashpoint story, it's like, timeline gets screwed up. Guess who has to repair it? Barry. So it's going to get repaired. It's not like things are going to get erased.
Although the sad thing is, now I will give I'm sorry, of all things to forget, what's all right. Muschietti, all things like Muschietti did say about Flash that he had filmed several different versions, presumably several different versions of the ending, because in the comics, of course, Barry, like the very end of the Flashpoint comics, Barry assembles the New 52 universe, much to everybody's chagrin, whatever. But it's clear, clearly, like from what we know, like I think you get the idea that Muschietti he filmed different endings depending on what the studio wanted to do with the universe moving forward. Like he probably he filmed a version where we go back, where at the very end everything works out, you just end up back in the Snyderverse, or he does a version where he assembles it and you have Keaton is now the new Batman or whatever. It's like that weird whatever it was that they were doing where like Batfleck is like missing somewhere or something. But I would not be surprised, like the fact that it was under picture lock and then supposedly it isn't anymore. Shut up, Liza. But apparently, I would not be surprised if they unlocked it again. That was leading to putting together whatever Gunn's universe is going to be.
Wait, so yeah. Go ahead.
Sometimes I feel like Liza is just saying things just to make everybody mad in the chat.
I thought her name was Lisa, not Liza.
However you pronounce her name.
No. I mean, you don't have to. We don't have to get that extreme when it comes to this. I mean, she said right there, like the ending hasn't changed in the movie, which it apparently has not.
I hope not. But
I think when it came to stuff, when it came to Keaton, when they were saying like, oh, he's the new DCU Batman. The thing that didn't make sense with me is like, no, the guy's 70 years old. If anything, he's going to be more of a Nick Fury character. Like it wasn't going to be he was going to be the, you know, Batman. But then of course at the same time they were trying to do something when it came to the old regime and Batgirl, which is why Batgirl got screwed by the old regime, because they were like, all right, Batgirl is going to fit right after the Flash in between, you know, it's going to be December of this time. And that's why, you know,
and the whole weird thing, the whole weird thing in the Batgirl movie of, okay, you have J.K. Simmons in, Lisa, it was a joke. Lisa, it was a joke. We're allowed to make jokes here. Yeah, but like, again, like the Batgirl film has J.K. Simmons as Gordon, and you have Keaton as Batman, and in the flashbacks, they're young and together. So, okay, what exactly were they trying to create?
What were they trying to create? I'm not quite sure. I think that to me, it sounds like what the, you know, Hamada and them were trying to create was like this fractured timeline where maybe Barry didn't fix it entirely or something like that. I don't know. You know, it's like they didn't fix it entirely. So then there's still some things that are like wonky when it came to all that. So, but it just, but at the same time, it's like when it came to Batgirl, I was like, all right, the only way, it's just sad that the first Batgirl live action movie was coming off of, and it's part of like, you know, what happens with Marvel. It's like, hey, you know, it sets up the next movie. The Flash set up Batgirl in a way, and it's like if the Flash didn't come out in that certain time, that means Batgirl was screwed, and I think that's why, you know, that's why it got canceled. One of the main reasons.
Well, yeah, and I'll say this, Jose. Which of us was right on all the predictions, right? Certainly wasn't. Yeah.
Predictions on what?
Yeah, Jose is like, don't worry about Liza. None of us take Eric seriously. I mean, that's so funny because, like, considering all the, like, Jose was, as I recall, Jose, you were the one defending Emmerich. You were defending Hamada. So you got no business talking about being taken seriously.
When was he doing that?
Remember he was like, hey, guys, why don't you tell me exactly what Emmerich did wrong and don't talk about Snyder's? And we laying it out for him. It's like, well, how was that wrong? It was like, seriously, dude.
Yeah, and first off, her name's Lisa, not Liza.
Okay. Lisa, whatever.
Yeah, Lisa, whatever. No, just say it right, dude. That's all. Just Liza.
No. Look, I mean, there's someone at work who's like has that name, but it's pronounced Liza for some reason. That's why I'm mixing it up.
Gotcha. Yeah, but no, it's Lisa. It's Lisa.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I was like, so Jose said that. When did he say that?
Yeah, he said it throughout. Like before Emmerich was finally like left, he was constantly like asking in the chat, "Hey, people, tell me like what did Emmerich do wrong?" Yada yada yada. And then, but the thing is, though, when we actually had him on the stream, he said, "Oh, I'm just playing a character in the chat." So make of that what you will, folks.
Okay. Well, we don't need to like, you know, bump heads here when it comes to
I
that.
got you.
I don't know if he actually did, you know, supported Emmerich and Hamada or defended. I don't think that. I think at one point, I don't know, with everything that's happened, I think it's been like it's been such a weird thing where we all thought that, all right, when Zaslav came in, we thought that, okay, so is he gonna just like hold the whole thing? Is he gonna I don't know. There's so many things where it just, I don't know, everything should be there's been so many things where we, you know, how many times has this happened over and over again where people think that, okay, we want somebody to come in and save and hold things together and kind of like, you know, keep the Snyderverse intact and whatever. But at the same time, it was like, no matter what, whoever came in just didn't do that.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to Zaslav, I think he was looking, you know, he licked his finger and was going, where's the wind blowing and everything. Yeah. But at the same time, he was like, okay, I see where this is, but I can't do it myself. I'm trying to run the entire thing. I need, when it comes to this specific part of of
Yeah.
the company. I need somebody else to do it. And then, in comes James Gunn and Peter Safran. Not the best choices, obviously. I didn't think it was. I was like, oh, okay. I as much as people will call me, whatever, they'll call me like a gun stan or a pedo sympathizer or whatever the fuck they want to call me. I know it's so ridiculous, but
and as I was constantly warning people when they kept doing that hashtag fire James Gunn, fire James Gunn, fire James Gunn, it's like, guys, you do realize there's someone else in the leadership of DC Films, right? And that guy, Peter Safran, lest we forget, ever since Shazam, the publicity tour for Shazam, he was endlessly talking reboot. And we all thought it was just he had no idea what that word meant. But now that they actually did a reboot, I was like, oh, geez, he was campaigning for an actual reboot for this whole time.
Well, I mean, imagine getting hired for something like this, and everything is just all over the place. So when it comes to me, and we've talked about it before, like on the Vox stream and stuff, is the fact that it's like, I don't doubt that James Gunn and Safran would want to just wipe the slate clean, because everything is so anybody would want to do that. And at the same time, you can you could salvage things because it is a multiverse.
I mean, obviously, like the one guy that was campaigning to be the leadership that we know was going to work to preserve some of it was Hiram Garcia. But then the question is, well, why didn't he get the job? Well, I really think that the reason he didn't get the job was for the same reason that other like top candidate did not get the job, because neither of them wanted to give up their companies. And apparently that was the condition that Zassoff said, you got to give up your companies and just focus full on being the leader of DC.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're trying to get this thing going 100%, you want somebody 100% to be involved in it. And that's the thing. It's like, if Hiram couldn't give up obviously what he was doing, and good on him for not wanting to do that as well, but you have to have somebody who's going to be 100% in it. James Gunn's a filmmaker, he's creative, he knows the DC lore, and I think that's what he looked at it as, even though it's like, it's interesting because he still has to, obviously with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, he still has to promote that this year and plug it and do junkets and all that stuff. So his time is not even 100%. I don't know. It's all very strange.
And it's also a lot of people, like, we have to keep in mind, we just learned this week that Warner Brothers is selling the rights to its music library. They are that much in debt that they're selling off the rights to their music. So honestly, with that in mind, I don't think they had much of a choice because of like, again, I think like we've said this before, and other folks have said this before. It's easy to blame the current regime for like reboots, but no, we have to blame like the folks who screwed it up.
That's right.
In the years since the Justice League came out, the stardom status of all these actors have gone up, and the price for keeping them along has gone up along with it. Like that, like Ben Affleck certainly is a star. Gal Gadot, and certainly Henry Cavill. The longer it took, the more expensive it was going to be.
Yeah, that's why. I kept on saying, I was like, why? As Cavill's value kept going up, I was going like, I was like, throw your money at him now, but they didn't want to throw money at him.
I believe, and someone, I forget who it was. Like, was it Colbert or was it Scott? I don't know. One of them, someone said on the vodka stream, look, the Warner Brothers, like the old regime, did not realize how easy the solution was. If after the debacle of Justice League, if they had just given us a Man of Steel 2 right then and there, a lot of us would have been would have like, eased up a little bit. I mean, there still would have been a call for the Snyder Cut, but it would have been more like the whole Donner Cut thing call. But they didn't give us that.
Yeah.
And as a result, none of us are satisfied.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Yeah, but also at the same time, it's like we have to realize too that when you watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, that's not a movie that was shot in 2020. That was a movie that was shot in 2016.
Yeah,
that's a movie that was shot. The production started almost 7 years ago, and that's what's we got to realize that this wasn't, when you watch that movie, like, even though it came out in 2021, it was mainly, majority of it was filmed in 2016. So that's what's so crazy to think. And it's like, hey, if when it comes to continuing, again, that's what makes it harder, is the fact that everybody's off and doing more things.
And and add to that, we've talked all the time about the age of the actors. Like, I mean, we've talked all the time, like, it was stupid when they were saying it about Amy Adams, because as we all agree, she ages like fine wine. But it's like, but now we were starting to hear people say that nonsense about Henry Cavill, that, oh, he's getting too old for the role. And then people are starting to say the same thing about, of all people, Gal Gadot. No. And not because she's looking older or anything, but there's like, well, how old she is now? Do you really think she's going to be here for like 10 years or whatever? I don't think, blah, blah, blah. It's like, however ridiculous it is, the whole age argument is getting more and more prominent. So that was another reason.
I think with Gadot, but it's not even that much of age thing. It's just the fact that, does she want to actually do it with, she's, in the time since she got Wonder Woman, she's had like 2 or 3 kids, 2 kids at least. 2. I mean, obviously when she was doing reshoots for Wonder Woman, she was pregnant, and then she had another kid recently. I think she's had 2 kids since, at least. I don't know, but then it's like, does she want to? And that's always been the question too, when it came to the whole Wonder Woman argument. It's like, all right, does she actually want to be a part of this and does Jason Momoa want to be a part of it too? And then there's always the speculation that maybe they're gonna transition him into Lobo, which he would be perfect for it. But then it's like, it is a little weird. It's all a little weird. It's all weird.
Honestly, look, if they're going to do reboot and recasting, just recast everybody, because the selective recasting that Grace was advocating for when Justice League came out, you may remember, that was the main thing that turned me off of her, really, the whole selective recasting, because it's so stupid inherently. But because seriously, look, every once in a while, you can keep an actor in the role that he or she was born to play, because no one else can play him as well. I mean, case in point, J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. But even then, he had to look different. He had to be clear he was a different version of the character. But that's the exception. It's not the rule. You can't just pick and choose who to keep in the roles and who to recast. No, it's got to be a very special exception.
I think multiverse is going to be a big thing. That's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, even Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is pushing it a little bit. I mean, Hugh himself was saying, look, I'm still in great shape and all that, but do you know how hard it is to stay in this kind of shape? I mean, my wife's not complaining, but it's hard.
Hey, that's what's so funny about that. It's like, I remember seeing even like articles that said like Hugh Jackman's going to try to get into the best shape he's ever gotten into. I'm like, you don't have to, Hugh. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just funny because when the character doesn't require, I mean, yes, it requires you to be in shape and you have to like at least wear a costume or wear something, but it's just funny because every when it comes to these superhero roles, you have to have that shirtless glamour shot, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, I will say there is like, I will say this, like one of the cool things about the Wolverine is is like when he opens the case and there is the classic Wolverine suit, but it's not spandex. It actually looks really good. Like if they were to do something like that for when he's with Deadpool, they probably will. Yeah, but
there's going to be something in Deadpool that has that costume. I guarantee you.
But again, but going back to the whole age thing, in order to fix that issue, like we've talked a lot about de-aging technology and how it's improved year by year. And it's like, and by the time we were to finally do it, yeah, they would look young, but still it costs money. It is a CGI effect. It's still going to cost a bit.
Yeah.
So in the end, it's just cheaper to recast people. And if you are going to keep certain actors, then you give them different roles. I know people are saying, well, they're going to keep, Zachary Levi, or they're going to keep, Jennifer Holland. But honestly, give them different roles. And honestly, Jennifer Holland, like as much as people would say, well, yeah, of course they're going to keep, he's going to keep her, because they're married. Well, yeah, but I really doubt she's going to be in a bit part now in this new version. I mean, I would not, like I said, I think she would be a very solid Black Canary. And as for Supergirl, I mean, there was this one, I forget, I don't know if it was a film or a TV show where there's a scene where she cosplayed as Supergirl. So, and she looked the role very well. But honestly, I don't know.
I mean, I think because we still have Peacemaker season 2 coming out, so
yeah, but look,
we're still gonna have her as Hallcourt.
As Hallcourt, yeah, that's true. But I feel like, yeah, I imagine it's going to come out around. It's going to come out next year, right? Is it going to be next year that when season 2 comes out? Because
I don't know.
Because if that is, that's the same year that the rest of these movies of the old DCU are coming out. So I would imagine, look, I would not be surprised. I mean, I could be wrong, but I really feel like Peacemaker season 2, just with everything else, just with Aquaman 2 and the Flash and all the rest, that it's just going to be, look, we're just finishing up the old DCU so we can move on. We're just finishing up the storyline so we can move on.
See, that's another thing that I'm curious about when it comes to all these movies. Yeah. Because the 4 movies that are coming out this year were all previous regime. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so how is all this going to fit with everything? I mean, when we saw the first Shazam trailer, he talks about the other heroes, and they show clips from Zack Snyder's Justice League. They show, Batman, Wonder Woman, all that. It's just they got all that, and I'm like, okay, so if Shazam, I mean, what's going to happen with Shazam? I don't know. It's obviously with Zach really when it comes to Shazam, it's a lot easier because he's technically not Snyderverse. Technically, like it's not Zack Snyder who cast,
it's not Snyderverse, but it's not Snyderverse, but Shazam constantly makes reference to the event of the Snyderverse.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, but they could easily just stir away from it because it's almost like Shazam. Like when I watched the first Shazam and I really enjoy it, is the fact that it's almost like a parody of superhero films. Like it has parody levels to it. So it's like they could play with the whole thing of like,
I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's just like that, like Freddie, like in his room, he's got Time Magazine article, like he's got the Time Magazine issues about, the Black Zero event, that sort of thing. And like in the newspaper events about those events. So there's that, but still.
Yeah. And, I mean, and one of the things I'm curious about too, and I know it's being brought up in the chat, is the fact that like, all right, so blockbuster, or not blockbuster, but box office, what are these movies going to pull in? Because when it came to the first Shazam, I think it did it. I forgot how much it made, but I mean, I know it was like almost just not even $500 million, and it didn't pull, but it had a low budget, so it was successful. That's why it warranted a sequel. Now, when it comes to the sequel, how much is this going to pull in when it comes to, this is the first one of this year that it's going to pull in. And I'm just kind of going like, well, I pretty much think I think David F. Sandberg, he put his last little bit in, and then that's it.
I mean, I will say, like,
he's not going to do any more after this,
Oh, are you serious? He's not going to do a third one after
I don't think he would.
After that setup in the credit scenes of the first Shazam with the worm and Dr. What's his name, they're set up about them coming back, which apparently we're not going to get in the second movie, and now he's going to tell me he's not going to do that. He's not going to give us payoff. He wasn't planning on giving us payoff for that.
I would not be surprised if he does not do another one. If they do another one,
well, there you go.
Because I think he wants to do probably more original stuff. After doing these two movies, and I don't know. I would like to see that too. I mean, that's the thing. If you want to be stranglehold to all this stuff, some directors don't want to do that.
I get that.
Yeah, I just and the fact that it didn't get linked up to Black Adam much, and it seemed like it was because that was Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, I guess, and I get that, and I understand. I mean, like James Wan has said, look, I never do trilogies. I just tell my story in 2 movies, and I'm done, and that's great. But everything that we're going to get in Aquaman 2 is what was set up in Aquaman 1 with the Lost Kingdom. But so Shazam 1 sets up this the specific event, these villains in the credit scenes, and we're not getting them in the second movie. At least presumably not. I mean, there might be a surprise, a twist or whatever, but there better be, because whatever.
I know that sucks, because you put it all out there, and then all of a sudden things change and people start saying stuff. But we got somebody from the land down under showing up.
Hey, what is up, Dave?
Axel, what is happening, buddy?
Hey,
not much. I just finished watching The Last of Us. Because pilot just dropped, and it was a really long pilot. It was like an hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, I just finished that.
That's like a movie.
And then I saw that you were live, and it was a Patreon stream, and I haven't done that in it's my second one, and I
appreciate you showing up, man. Well, how was the episode? How was the episode?
I thought it was very good. It was now I'm not going to spoil it. I know it just came out, but
don't spoil
I'm not going to spoil it. Don't worry. But it was very faithful, I'd say, to the game and
source material.
And the prologue or something like that. It was pretty accurate, I'd say. But it was. I'd recommend for those who played the game, and I just finished the game yesterday. So
wow,
the first one. I haven't played the second one yet, but
I will say, Axel, I've not played either game, but it's just but there are a lot of fans of the first game that do not like the second game. I'll just to prepare.
I remember when the second game came out. I'm not going to spoil, but I know what I've been doing, sort of, but I know that some people aren't happy with what happens in the second game. I'm going to come in with an open mind. I'm not going to listen to any other YouTube creators.
Yeah, I'm just prepping. Yeah, just saying.
I'm going to hopefully watch that first. I know about the game and never really played the game, but I know what is with the game, and I've seen, but I just keep hearing good things about this series, and I'm like, and even people who are live watching, I was like, wow, people were just praising the absolute shit out of it. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot. So hopefully I could fit it in and maybe talk about it tomorrow on Film Junkee Live. I don't know. But thank you for joining, Axel. Good to see you. Nice shirt.
Oh yeah. I got this when I got back from Italy, in early this month. I got back from Italy, and not only did this come, but I also ordered something for myself.
Look at that! You got
a little thing.
This one right here, this beautiful thing right here.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's good stuff. So you got the Steppenwolf as well. That's cool.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Dude, that figurine. I mean, you hold that thing, you go, man, this is a weapon. It's so don't squeeze it. Don't squeeze it.
Spiky as hell. I was wondering if I could take the head off as well, to show if it decapitates, but I'm not gonna try that.
No, don't try that. You're gonna ruin your figuring. But no, we're just we're talking about just things that are happening right now, of course, when it comes to Warner Brothers and what's all going on. I mean, obviously, last time we all kind of got together, and it was just kind of up in the air. And now,
was it before the whole thing with James Gunn, with Henry Cavill not coming out? Was it before that, or was it after?
It was before that.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
was back in
Yeah,
November,
God,
and
things
that was
got so
before all
much
this.
worse after that.
I got to ask about this other, like the other poll that I did way back, a little further back, about the idea of like, look, I was telling people who are like, really upset, screaming to Warner Brothers to do this and that. I was like, guys, considering how dirt cheap the stock is for Warner Brothers right now, you guys who are basically demanding that Warner Brothers do your bidding, you could do less. You could do worse than start investing in it, buying it up.
Well, there was that part. Yeah, they're like, to send some money to the stock. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, it's so weird because with everything that's happening now. I mean, somebody sent me today where somebody had like a laundry list of hashtags when it came to selling the Snyderverse to different streamings. And one of them literally said, "Sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to HBO," and I went, "Okay."
My gosh!
Yeah. I was like, "Whoa, you kind of missed."
HBO is Warner Brothers, you idiot.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I was like, "Oh." Now it's just like, all right, is it to the point where we're just throwing just hashtags everywhere? Or are we actually thinking some of this through? I don't know.
At this point, which hashtag hasn't been used? That's the question.
Pretty much. I know. That is the question. Like,
indeed.
I don't know. I mean, and that's why I said when I wanted to talk about the that hashtag is like, I would have chose Amazon because again, they have the money to actually really really support that. But I
do
get
like dark superhero stuff. The boys.
And they bought the Lord of the Rings series. And they threw a shit ton of money at that because they have Amazon to back it up. It's not just all these other streaming services are just streaming services. They're getting their money from subscriptions. When it comes to Amazon Prime, guess what? They have Amazon to back it. Everybody fucking uses, and it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So it's like they could just be like, all right, we'll throw money at that. We'll throw money at this. We'll throw money because they have it.
Yeah, I mean they're throwing money at that Lord of the Rings show or something. So I think they have the money for Justice League, live action or not.
Yeah, I know. It's just that's why I was like immediately I'm like, with that. But I get it because Zach is working for Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
why they say they want the Snyderverse at Netflix. To me, it's already there. We got Army of the Dead.
It's a different Snyderverse.
I kind of feel like rewatching it soon.
I get it. I know it's a clever retort that since Snyder is here and he's doing a shared universe, therefore the Snyderverse is a Netflix. But you know what everyone's talking about.
Yeah, I know. But like, it's just. I don't think. Do I want the Snyderverse to come back? Yeah, that'd be awesome. But like, no, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like,
Well, look again. The only way
is old, like the Snyderverse.
The only way for it to happen is for it to sell it to a streaming service, but a streaming service that Zach will be working with, number one, but it has to be affordable for that streaming service, which means it will be easier for Amazon to do a high budget project. But although like Zach does, his contract is like a few years. I don't know how many years it is, but I'm sure since he's been working well with Netflix, he might want to renew it. Just saying.
I think so. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with all that because right now we're all clamoring for a fucking Rebel Moon teaser or something. Something. We need some live action Rebel Moon. I mean, we've gotten. I mean, obviously he's posted like some live action stuff, but it's mainly behind the scenes and just showing some beautifully shot stuff like that of what's her name, and it's like you have all that stuff that was falling. It looked very pretty, very beautiful.
Can't wait to see what Sophia Boutella or Ray Fisher look like. And
I mean, we've gotten a sense of what Sophia, well, at least haircut, but we haven't seen wardrobe. And then we've gotten a sense from Ray Fisher from his stuntman who posted like a picture of himself, kind of. So we know he's going to have some dreadlocks, which is going to look interesting. Yeah, you didn't see that? You didn't see that?
No, I don't think I saw that. Oh,
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Fisherman's dreadlocks. This I gotta see.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not sure where. I don't know. We'll have to try to find her or something like that.
Everyone's rocking the
Ray Fisher-
dreadlocks now. Like Jake Sully and Avatar Dude was rocking it, and
Yeah.
now everyone is. I guess it's the
I
new
forget. Yeah, Ray. I don't know. I'll have to try to
Yeah.
find it. Ray Fisher, Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of Jake Sully, Dave, I forget. Did you see Avatar: Way of Water? I forget.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw
It was one of my favorite movies of last year. Yeah.
it was same with me. It was like a great theater experience. I had.
Yeah, because I seem to remember you doing that car review of it, but I wasn't sure. But I think you did. Yeah. How about that? Yeah. And then Plane. You got either guys seen Plane yet? I'm planning on seeing it.
I saw Plane the last Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's one of what I was talking about this with Scott because he was thinking about seeing it tonight. He actually might be in the movie theater right now because after the stream he was like, I might go see Plane. I'm like, you know what? Do it because it's one of those. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing, but it's an action movie that reminds me of 90s action movies.
Yes. That's
right to the point of like, okay, you have this, captain of a that's trying to fly this plane and something happens. They have to like crash land on this island that has no law and just full of, this army of just rogue fucking people. And then you have a convict on there, which is Mike Coulter, Luke Cage. And it's just one of those where it's like, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. That,
suspend your disbelief. There's some things where you kind of go like, okay, yeah, I'll just let that pass, but at the same time, it's just, I have actually been enjoying these January movies because usually January movies are like,
they're usually so bad.
Yeah, they put their shit. I enjoyed Megan. I enjoyed Plane, and I joined Man Named Otto or Man Called Otto.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The fact that January is traditionally the month where movies go to die is why it's such a cash cow for like if a studio wanted to do a movie that they think would be a hit, it would be the perfect spot because you have no competition.
Exactly.
I mean, like they do. That's where they put Split. Remember, and Split.
And look what happened with Megan. Megan has made 5 times its budget right now.
Yeah.
So you have a small, low-budget horror movie, and they were like, put it in January because there's not much competition. Let's have this crazy horror movie, and it's already made 5 times its budget. There's a sequel that's already in development because they knew that. Oh yeah, if we just do that, keep the budget low, which is what Blumhouse does. They're very good at keeping low budgets with their horror movies, and then most of the time, Blumhouse just is successful when it comes to that. So yeah. They've done good. They've done good.
Because like when I was on the plane back from Italy, I watched Bullet Train, and because I've been meaning to watch that for a while. That's such a stupid ass movie, but like it's so fun at the same time.
Yeah.
I watched Sonic 2, which I'm surprised I actually kind of liked. And what else did I watch? I watched Puss in Boots when I got back home, and I gotta say that was really good.
I didn't see Puss in Boots. I never really Puss in Boots. I never really got into the Shrek, stuff. I've seen like the first 2. I don't think I saw the last.
Same. I saw the first 2, and then after that, it's like, whatever. I mean, I love Antonio Banderas, and I love that he's doing his Zorro character as a cat. So
he's emphasizing he's going extreme with it too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like serious. It's because the clips I've seen, I'm like, okay, it's Zorro, but he's upped it like a couple of notches to be extreme with it.
Exactly.
It's great, which is fine. I mean, it's a cat that.
Which is basically, if you remember his first Zorro movie, like when he steals the horse. Yeah, but just when he steals the horse, that whole sequence is very wacky because he doesn't really know how to be a professional Zorro, so he's just being crazy and kind of wacky. I was like, there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty much what But yeah. And I would recommend anybody seeing that first Zorro movie.
Yeah, it's such a classic. James Horner's score, just mwah!
Yeah, it's all great. You got what's her name? I've totally drawn a blank. Somebody will remind me. I was like Mrs.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, gorgeous. And then you got Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah,
so great.
Oh, yeah.
It's just such a great movie. If you haven't seen it, but Draga, what are you thinking when it comes to what's been happening? And obviously, since the last time we talked, the whole Henry Cavill thing, disappointed us, devastated us, just
that was
devastated. And then
it was kind of. I remember at the beginning of 2022. I remember that when Grace Randolph put that tweet out saying, "This is the new DCEU." It was basically we're just getting Supergirl, Batgirl, and and I'm like, and it just ended badly. It just, it was not a good year. Like, we had Black Adam. I enjoyed it in some cases, in some points, the action. I got kicked out of
the fact that Grace Randolph was just bouncing back and forth on whether or not Cavill was still around, and she was bouncing back and forth over whether or not Batfleck was killed off, and on and on and on. She's just sticking her she's just putting her finger in her mouth and then just sticking it up in the wind. That's all she's doing.
She can.
Well, I mean, I've said this before, and I'll say it again: is the fact that she did have sources to Warner Brothers, but they have dried up now. That's the thing; they have dried up. I mean, they're gone. I mean, Zaslav when Zaslav came in, he was trying to plug all the leaks, any kind of leaks.
Yeah, he was going to save the Snyderverse.
Right.
That's
what I was talking about, Draga. I was saying, like, every time somebody comes in, everybody goes, "Oh, they're gonna save the Snyderverse." It's like, haven't we learned? I'm like, I was hoping that Zaslav was gonna preserve a little bit of it. I'm one of those guys, and I wish more people would be like it. And I know you guys are like this at some point. It's like, we got such a W when it came to the Snyder Cut that I am okay with the 9.5 hours of a trilogy that I can watch when it comes to that. And then, of course, you can add more with Wonder Woman and whatever the hell. But I'm just like, what Snyder created with that trilogy, it's like 9.5 hours. Yeah. And he wrapped it up in a bow that said For Autumn, and it was just kind of like one of those things. And I've talked to the guy personally, and I'm just kind of going like, all right, is he open for more? Sure. But at the same time, he wants to do other things, Yeah,
I just wish
also, like, in the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, when everyone's going off in their own path, you got the Flash running, happy, like Superman, like, ripping the shirt, like, you got Wonder Woman going to, like, doing something. That's pretty much a good ending for them. Like,
which is why mean, I look and I get it. Zach, the fact that Zach, when he did when Clark does the shirt rip, it's still the black suit. But I really think, like, look, if you're going to do a closure, maybe do a closure version. If you are moving on, where when he opens the shirt, it's the blue suit. But I don't know.
I was surprised when it was actually the black suit, because, like,
what? I
didn't know that he would continue with the.
To be honest, I think it was a middle finger to.
I know, but still,
to Warner Brothers. Okay, because I mean, I didn't hear that personally, but I heard, talking to Zach, because like I said before, it came out, and like we were really trying to market this thing. I mean, me and him talked a lot. Privately, yeah, no, right? No, but at the same time, it's like he told me that even when they greenlit. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Oh,
I love that. I love that. Look at that. God damn. That's like that's a superhero in and of itself right there, man.
Indeed.
Yeah, I like that. Good job, man.
You know what that looks like?
By the way, Draga, God damn you with your, like, when I first saw, like, your Zeus drawing, I was like, at first I was like, I felt bad because when you sent those to me on, this is on Wednesday's Film Chucky Live, I went, oh fuck, who is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, there's blood. I'm like, I totally blanked, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be awkward. And then when you said Lobo, I was like, okay, I guess so.
Yeah, someone said Lobo in the chat. I'm like, God damn it, no, it's not Lobo.
Hold on. Also, if I could see that image again,
Oh, here's
that's cool
that too.
Okay, so you're doing this is part of what you showed when it came to Zeus and it came to Dr. Manhattan, right? You're doing dude. Yeah. Oh wow, look at that. That's dude.
Looking at that style, what that style, especially the style that you showed of Zach.
Yeah, like the DC.
It really reminds me of. Yeah, it really reminds me stylistically of the classic like Hanna-Barbera style, like that kind of look, and it's a really cool. It's cool and dynamic in its own way. Yeah, I'm not talking about the goofy like Scooby Doo or anything like that, but when we're serious, like yeah.
No. I like that style with the, because
Yeah.
like you said, like the DCAU style almost like, and even like like animated series, you have like the square chins and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like you could like in the DCAU like with the Bruce Timm and like
Bruce Timm.
All the men are like brick walls pretty much.
Yeah.
Like,
they're almost like that one
Dorito looking torsos. It's pretty wild.
No, yeah, good job. But it was just funny because when I first saw the first one, I was like, wait, who is that? And yeah, that's why
I'm
it was
also drawing right now. Where is it? Leonidas.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Can't wait to see the final product of that, man.
Yeah, I'm like,
I know you're doing a combination of all
in the helmet or not. That's
that is.
Yeah, everybody.
You might have to draw both to see which one's better. Yeah. But also football thing. Congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals. They won the game, so they are moving on. So any Bengals fans out there, cheers.
Yeah.
They just
I don't know. It's just like as far as the playoffs are concerned, you know what really I got really pissed off the fact that look, my team, the Steelers, was 9 wins, 8 losses. The Buccaneers, the Bucks, 8 wins, 9 losses. What team makes it into the playoffs and which team doesn't?
Well, because their division had shitty people, like every other team was shitty. I'm surprised about that too. It was like, wow, like Tom Brady got in somehow
by the skin of his teeth, and he lucked out. Yeah, totally but clearly, like the Steelers deserve to be in the playoffs more than the Bucks, and yet just because of the whole divisions crap, they made it and we didn't.
Yeah, no. But anyways, congratulations to them. Back to nerd talk, but so. Well, I it's funny because I like to call you Draga more than Axel. Yeah. I'm sorry, I just like because I always see your name on the thing. But are you thinking about like maybe even doing like I mean, obviously you have this. It's just going to be like one big artwork. Like
it's just going to be like a poster. Like I've got Leonidas to draw, and then Superman. Like I'm like wondering, should I do him in the BVS suit or the black suit? And I'm thinking. Blue suit.
Do the blue suit. Yeah. I mean, even though we're talking about the black suit right now, and like I said, I think that the reason why that when you see the shirt rip, it was very much a fuck you to because they didn't want it. They didn't want the black suit. Essentially what he did. And we all know the whole backstory of the fact that. When they didn't want him to do the black suit, even though he was like, all right, we have the black suit, but Cavill never wore the black and silver suit. They just,
he did in Man of Steel for that one suit, but like,
Well, yeah. But I'm talking about like this legit one. It was the fact of the matter is like they shot it like Zach had the contingency plan to shoot it where they can easily change it with the color palette to make it black and silver.
Although what we've seen of the blue suit version in the film, like what he did with the blue suit, it still looks beautiful, but looks beautiful even today. So, but it's like, as far as doing the FEO, it doesn't surprise me because remember, because they wanted him to cut the dialogue between Darkseid and Desaad that would basically set up that Darkseid's coming back because they wanted to wrap it up, and the irony is we pretty much have to accept it as being wrapped up.
Yeah, and like when Superman rips the shirt, but when I first saw that, I was surprised that was actually in the Snyder Cut because I thought that was a reshoot.
There were behind the scenes shots with Zach doing that scene.
Yeah. I don't think it wasn't a reshoot, but I think it was like it was something that they wanted to have in there. It was like, all right, well, I'm going to do it my way kind of thing, And it was just, because let's face it, Justice League after, with the whole BVS stuff got rewritten big time. and he tried to be, he tried to keep it as much as possible. I mean, that's the thing is like, and I even said this, I think I said it, I don't know, recently, but the fact of the matter is, it's like, yeah, as much as we shouldn't compromise, and Zach totally puts that out there that don't compromise. And it's like, yeah, shouldn't, but at the same time, he had to, but he compromised in such a great way where he still tried to keep so many elements to
basically filming Justice League was pretty much a battle against Warner Bros. Like, hey, like I want to film this. Oh no, you got to film it this way. Well,
so he
film it my way.
Yeah, when it came to BVS, I mean, obviously that script was, the first BVS script. Was the fact that it's like it was different. It was different from and I've talked to somebody who knew about this. They said that it wasn't as political as what we got. It was less political and more action. So but things changed, and then when it came to even the reception of that changed Justice League. So we had to change that stuff too. But at the same time, Zach was crafty enough to be like, even though Warner Brothers was like, no, we need more changes. We need it to be lighter. This is not light enough. He shot what they wanted, and then he shot what he wanted. We heard about that, and that just shows you right there. So, it's just,
and by the way, it wasn't like the ending for BVS Duggar. Like Batman was gonna brand Luthor, but like Chris Terrio was like, no, he doesn't even learn his lesson. So
Yeah, I mean, I remember way back when John Schnepp like gave the scoop that there were actually total of 3 different versions of Justice League that were filmed, including Joss Whedon's being the 3rd one. And now we learned that yes, that was the case because Zach shot 2 versions at the same time.
Yeah, that's why we saw some. We saw things that were shot by Zach, that were lines that were written by and Jeff Johns, dress like a bat, blah blah blah, or hey, here you're talking.
Not that those lines weren't good. It's just that those lines were imposed on Zach.
Yeah.
And like, what about that line where Gordon says to Batman, "It's good to see you working with others again." I saw when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, that's a good reference to like.
To be honest, you know what? And there's nothing wrong with liking that line. I like that line too. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you say that in Twitter space, people will be like, "How dare you?"
People will be like, "Oh, you're a fake fan." I'm like,
"Yeah, you like Jeff Johns."
He's a good comic book writer, but in person, no,
just an ass.
When it came to movies, he wasn't good. But beware yourself. Beware yourself, Eric. We got Jose here.
I'm fine. I said all I needed to say.
No. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
No, you're fine. You can say whatever BS you want. I'm not that. I always said the facts I needed to say.
All right, Jose, you came in at the perfect time because I really have to pee. So, Jose, you're now hosting. You're now hosting this Patreon.
No way.
I'm kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever. Guys, talk. I just really have to pee.
Good luck.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
What's up? Uh-oh. Wait, what happened?
I love how he just made the full screen. He just took the full screen, just walk it off.
Yeah. Wait.
Totally,
you guys can hear me, right?
Totally hit the wrong button. Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
So, how's that Snyderverse coming along?
I just spoke to Netflix, and I think they're going to do it. No, I'm just kidding.
Really?
I have sources.
Well, in all seriousness, as like I said before, I agree with Dave that it seems like the only way for it to even possibly happen is if they sell the rights to it in an animated form, like Cape Crusade, like they sold Bruce Timm's.
And exactly. Some people are against the animated form, but it's either that or nothing. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be animated, and that's why I was challenging people this week. Hey, guys, you guys who are so against animation, look at what Robert Zemeckis could do with animation. And I know you're laughing just now, but seriously.
Polar Express?
But here's the thing. Again, like I said to Dave earlier tonight, Robert Zemeckis, those films were years ago. And yes, it wasn't quite in the realistic level, but it was getting to that point. Like if you look at the eyes, you can see the eyes are constantly moving like they do in real life. So he was getting there. It's just that, but it's been years since Polar Express came out.
I was
so
thinking like the Arkham cinematic trailers, something like that.
The cinematic trailers, or like someone brought up, Love, Death, and Robots, like how some of the segments there are very realistic. If we were, because like the more time goes on, the more we can get to that mantle. And I was challenging these people who says live action or nothing. If the animation were to look something like that, like with the Robert Zemeckis style, but better, more advanced, would you guys accept it? And there were people going, maybe, yeah, I guess. But, like Dave said, it is kind of expensive, but it's about the same as a live action version would be. But it's a perfect cheat if you want to do it.
Thoughts, Jose?
He has silenced himself at the sounds of my brilliance.
No, I see my voice moving there. You guys can't hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good now.
Yeah,
okay. Something's going on with my AirPods. I don't know what's going on. I'm on the speaker of my phone.
Technology sucks.
I know, right? And I was gonna say that. I mean, it's like there's no way around it. With these actors aren't getting any younger. They're, what I mean. And what are they gonna
de-aging technology?
Animated would be
and they're getting more expensive.
Only option.
Exactly. They're more expensive. And we talked about as I said earlier tonight, we've talked about de-aging technology a lot on the Patreon stream, but it's still CGI. It would still cost a pretty penny to do it. So you will need to do animation if you want it to continue, because they're getting older. And if you actually want to do it, if you want them to sell the rights to it to some other stream, whether it's Netflix or Amazon or whatever, it has to be animation, because they're not going to give a live action competition to themselves.
No, they're not. They're not. And then not to mention, there's certain actors that are be like, fuck that. But the easiest option to be like, hey, you want to come in, for some, here's some money to come in for a day to record, in a booth. Hey, boys, so much easier. But then at the same time, I wouldn't think that every actor would probably come in. And
I think that we get someone who would, sound like them or something.
Yeah, there could be somebody. Yeah, if nobody shows up, you're gonna have to have somebody that sounds like him. And
which, by the way, is what I've been pushing for endlessly.
Hey, Gary, what's going on?
Yeah.
Buddy?
Hey, Gary. Yeah,
there we go. The AirPods are working now.
Yeah. So anyway, so like I was saying, which is why, Sunset of the Gods, I've been pushing for. I want you. It has to be people who can really sound like what we know. Which is why.
Look at that!
Drew. This was something I drew last year. I like.
Oh, that is sweet.
Aquaman and
I like
that.
This
is like a similar animation to the DC animated films.
Yeah.
Wait.
I love this animation.
Yeah, look at that guy. Focus on Aquaman. Aquaman. That guy. That reminds me so. No. Forget that. It reminds me so much of Prince of Egypt, of DreamWorks Prince of Egypt. It's that, and I love that look. That's where.
Yeah,
he's looking a little too white there. I don't know. He's looking a little white there.
No, he's not that. No. I try to No. I make sure it's the lighting and stuff.
It looks very akin to Young Justice to me.
Yeah, that was my inspiration. Yeah. And here was another. This was my.
It kind of looks like Caldor.
Ooh, dude, that looks really good.
The rain effect.
I mean, seriously, I will say that if the post Flashpoint New 52 animated DC films looked like that, it would have been so much better.
Oh yeah, it would have been
because so many of those films have this rough-faced, quasi anime cheap look, but no, if it looked like that, it'd be a whole lot better.
My favorite movie is Flashpoint Paradox, but that art is terrible. I don't like.
Oh yeah, there's some wonky parts Superman's head.
What is Superman
and then Aquaman meeting Supergirl it's like a mirror scene as she as when Superman was back to life at Heroes Park, and then in the end here they both team up and and I still gave him a black suit because
it's The black
badass
suit's
and-
great.
Yeah, it looks so good.
It's just
Let's not get into the black suit debate.
Yeah, let's not get into that. Like,
Jose, we already had
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm a little busy here. Okay, I got things
Well,
to do.
I
I just
mean-
want to stop in really quick.
this is the only black suit
I'm not gonna stay for long. I just wanted to come in and say hi for a little bit.
Adios.
You know,
Yeah,
shoot the shit.
Appreciate
a
it,
little
Jose.
bit.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. of
He's
course.
on a-
I mean,
he's
I'm
on a-
paying for this.
Yeah.
Like I
Shit,
said-
I might as well get my money's worth.
Hey, like I said before, when you're
Exactly.
on the, like I said before, when you're on, by your own admission, when you're on the stream, you're reasonable. When you're in the chat, I don't know what's your problem.
No. I'm just joking. I'm just joking a lot in the chat. But some of the
There
stuff
you
I
go.
said, I mean, like I said, like you were saying about the whole Toby Emmerich and Hamada thing or whatever. Yeah, sometimes I just, but it was like my main thing was I was like ignoring all the Snyder stuff.
Yeah.
What else is there that they need to be fired for? And then I got my answer, so I was like, okay. But it's like every time I would ask that, I wouldn't get an answer because it would just all be going back to they're not doing the Snyder sequels and all that. I'm like, okay, well let's forget about that for a second. What else don't you like about this guy? And it was like, well, okay, fine. He did this, and then he did the whole the same day release thing with HBO Max.
Exactly.
That pissed off a lot of creatives and stuff. Some got over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Some didn't, like Nolan. Whatever.
Yeah. I still remember just when they had all those that producers roundtable for a Hollywood Reporter or whatever, and one of them brought up 300 and how, I so regret turning that down. Oh yeah, that movie's so great and Zach's so great, and then it cuts to Emmerich and Kemmerich's like, just kill me right now.
And he
Someone named
instantly
Saggy Malones in the chat trying to get my attention. Who is this Saggy Malones person? Who is this?
Saggy Malone.
Why is Saggy Malone's not here?
Saggy Malone's. I know. I don't. Yeah, Saggy Malone's just trying to get your attention here.
What's up,
apparently.
Stephanie?
It's
because we were fighting last time in the
I don't
chat,
know
'cause-
who she is, but yeah, Saggy Malone.
He's timed out.
It's crushing on you, Jose. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
She likes your voice. I mean, we all love your
Yeah,
voice.
she's
So
nobody.
great.
It's fine.
What the hell? What'd you do,
Saggy, join
dude?
the stream,
Eric,
Saggy. Are you a
Eric, why'd
Patreon?
you do that? Why'd you do that, Eric?
Because
Why?
I'm sick and tired of these spammers who come around and just blah
It's
blah
not.
blah.
It's Saggy.
What happened?
Saggy Melons,
what
man.
happened?
She was on the vodka stream on Friday, dude. Why'd you
put
do
Saggy
that?
on timeout?
Dude.
Oh, you turned her
come
up.
on, man. Dude,
All right,
Eric.
you're gonna have to
or
revoke
Eric,
that mod
you need
status,
to you
Eric.
need to like pump the brakes when it comes to your moderation stuff sometimes. Saggy
To be fair-
was literally
Oh, boy.
on the vodka stream on Friday and you just did that. It's
All
Saggy
right.
Melons.
I apologize, but to be
Good
fair,
Lord, man.
this is like the first time I was second time I was doing it today.
Dude, you need to even like
Okay.
when it came to Russ the other day, you didn't have to do
All
that either.
That's strike
because
two.
I know
All right,
Russ.
gotcha.
Russ is
I
a
get it.
friend.
I
Russ
get
is
it.
a
I
friend,
apologize.
Yes. Okay.
All
I'm
right.
just saying, dude. Like, I gave you moderation stuff, but
I got
sometimes you gotta pump the brakes on that
I
shit.
gotcha.
Right power.
That was
Usually,
not called for right
I
now.
will say this. Usually, I'm the one who gets rid of the porn bots. So there you go.
Well, yeah, I appreciate
yeah,
that,
do that.
but
Well, now you're
Saggy
not.
Melons is not a porn bot, or anything
Okay,
like
I
that.
gotcha.
Okay,
It just
okay.
it looked like he
Well,
was just.
that's up for
No,
debate.
no.
You know, when you're a mod, great power comes great responsibility.
There you go.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Uncle Ben
Now
is
let's-
rolling in his grave.
All
right
right, I
now.
got you guys. Now let's quote what all those people are saying and move on. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. You want to move on because we're getting on you. That's fine.
No. Okay. You know what though? It's so funny though that everyone was like, it's kind of funny that they love to do it. But it's like, hey, you know what? Fine, I'll just play along with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
now
man,
that
so you guys
the
have been watching
awkwardness, let's get the
some,
awkwardness out of here. But Carrie, you've joined. We haven't really talked to you much. Nice
As
beard, by the way.
Thank you.
I appreciate. That looks good. Looks
Thank you.
good. And how are things going, man?
Could be better. I mean, I'm back with my family in Colorado at this point, so we'll see what the next thing is in the coming months. But I'm no longer in Ohio.
Okay. Oh yeah. What happened with all that? If you want
I'd rather not get into that.
Okay,
It's
okay,
a long story. Just ultimately, job wasn't the right fit, and
okay, it
Yeah.
happened. So
Yeah.
back in Colorado. That's cool.
Yep.
How's the weather? Cold, I'm sure.
Cold, but I can deal with cold. I think I'm more prepared to deal
you
with
grew the beard
as opposed to Ohio. So,
Oh, yeah. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so when you talk about cold, like to this day, like I walk around in Florida in the winter time, and I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, and everyone's looking at me. It's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, I grew up in Pennsylvania. This is nothing.
Pennsylvania at least has, kind of like rolling hills and a little more scenic, whereas like Ohio is just flat. So
yeah, there's no I can imagine there's no beautiful mountains to look at.
There really isn't. No.
No. Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So
we've been underwater here in LA for like 2 weeks,
dude. I know. I'm listening to it right now. It's coming down. It's been coming down the whole time.
It's pouring right here.
Yeah. Dude,
I mean, we need it, but this is ridiculous.
I know. Well, that's what I was talking about before you came on. It was like, when it comes to California, it's like, oh, we need it. But then all of a sudden we get a bunch of it, and they're like, too much.
I've been seeing some snippets here and there of like people in the Bay Area, like where it's like flooding certain areas, like Santa Clara County and whatnot.
Oh, it's happening even down here.
Yeah, when you have
glad I'm avoiding
flooding and sinkholes, like swallowing up cars. That's not good. It's a little too much.
Yeah, like that's the thing is California is not built for excessive rain. Meanwhile, Oregon and Washington are laughing at us. They're like, "Huh, geez, you
know what else isn't built for rain? That $1 billion stadium that they built that got rain inside of it.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that when like they had rain, and I was like, I've been there twice. SoFi, I've been there twice. Beautiful stadium, great. And I was just like, oh yeah, if it rains, we're good, right? But apparently not so much. I thought those, what they have as their roof was good enough. It was good enough to block out rain, but apparently what was like two weekends ago or a weekend ago.
Yeah, it was for the national championship game.
Yeah. It was like people were like, "Oh my god!"
Right. It was coming in sideways.
What the like? I was like, "What the fuck? You guys spent all that money?"
And then people were slipping on the because I don't know what kind of like concrete they used, but that thing is slippery as hell. And like a bunch of people, like some ended up hospitalized because they slipped and fell and hurt themselves. So that's a lawsuit.
That's what they're trying. Yeah, why not? But I can't believe that. I really thought, because I've been there. I thought, okay, yeah, it's like a moon roof or a sunroof. They have the panels, everything's good, but yeah, apparently not so much. Because I remember the first time I went there was like rainy weather, but it wasn't like a bunch. It wasn't like pouring down, like a downpour. So maybe that's why I thought, oh yeah, if it's raining, we're good. But it never really rained that much. But yeah, I saw the footage and I went, oh shit, wow, damn, you spent that much on this stadium, and yeah, couldn't even. But then again, it's Southern California, not so much rain.
I don't know. I just trust domes more.
Yeah. Well, yeah, domes will do it. Domes will do it, but
that way you don't have to call up the game in account of rain.
Yeah. But off football, because hey, football. I mean, we just saw the Bengals win. Good on them. Again, congratulations to the Bengals. I mean, I think we all kind of assumed that. So does that mean the Bengals are going to play the Bills? We're going to finally get that whole thing because of what happened that one time, right?
Yes.
Jose probably would know more than me, but I don't know.
What team are you rooting for then right now, Dave?
I think I'm going to root for the Niners because I like the whole thing of they lost their quarterback, their pretty boy quarterback, and then they got their Purdy boy quarterback, Mr. Purdy. And he just came out of nowhere and he's kicking ass. He has not lost a game yet. And I'm just kind of going, yeah, I think Jose, yeah. I was like, Jose's been quiet. But I just like the fact that it's like one of those scenarios where backup quarterback comes in, young dude. His name is Brock Purdy. Yeah, and then he's just coming in and he's won every game that he's played. And so I'm like, go all the way, man. Go all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for him to go all the way to the Super Bowl.
Lavin, or at least however you pronounce the name. Is it Lavin or Lavin or whatever? Like the Lions are out of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah,
they didn't make it.
Well, they were out last weekend. When another team won, they were already out.
Yeah.
But
I will say this, like the it's kind of sort of it's not quite. It's not a comeback story in the sense they didn't make it to the playoffs, but still, they've done a whole lot better this year than they have in years. The Lions.
Yeah, no, they did good, and Goff was good too. Like, I mean, he was the Ram. He was part of the Rams at one point, and then of course they did that switcheroo thing. But now, like, all of a sudden, Goff was like, all of a sudden he's like doing really good. And what's his name? Who came to the Rams? What's the Rams quarterback? Stafford.
Stafford.
He wasn't doing that great, and then he got hurt. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, because like my dad was like a Rams fan since the 70s. And what it was that, look, they put it all, they bet it all on just getting to the Super Bowl last year. And they did, and they won. And then this year, for this year, like half of that team, of that strong team retired and the other half got injured. So that's what happened this year.
Yeah. And Saggy's back. So relax, Eric. Just saying. She's back. So we're good.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's a friend. She's a friend.
Sorry about like I said. Yeah, I said, Saggy, good to have you back. Sorry about that, but when you act like a bot, I assume you're a bot. So
yeah, but just make sure there's we gotta recognize the friends right here. Anyway,
I recognize.
I love that. Draga, what is going on with
someone should tell these people like Zed now Jose said, why don't you kick it? Why don't you ban him? It's like, I'm a mod. I'm incapable of being banned. The only one who could do it is like if Dave were to remove my with my wrench. But again, I'm the guy who keeps banning the porn bot, so he kind of needs me.
Just kidding. All right, we're past all that. We're good. But I wanted to know why you had the neck thing on right now.
Oh, because I'm kind of tired.
Okay.
Yeah, just need to
lean back a little bit.
Yeah.
So how far into the whole Netflix conversation did you guys?
We've talked about it a little bit, but I did want to get your take on this, Carrie. Like, I was gonna go to you next and be like, hey, what happened? How are your thoughts about some of this stuff that's happened in the past month?
Oh yeah, wow, where to begin? I'll say this. The firing of Henry Cavill, him letting him go off the Superman role, honestly, that has just broken my interest in DC on film almost completely.
Same.
Like, it's completely derailed it to the point where I don't even know how I'm unwilling to allow myself to get excited for stuff.
Well, Carrie, just remember, whenever someone says that, like Dave goes, I wish people would just not watch and shut up.
So, I mean, here's the thing. But let me clarify what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'm with you.
So, as far as the immediate slate, I'm going to see Aquaman 2 for sure because I love the first Aquaman movie and James Wan is awesome. But I'm also going in with the mindset that this is probably the last time we're going to see Momoa as Aquaman and these characters. I'm also going to go give me that good, badass Black Manta versus Aquaman fight. Give me that in this movie. And if you deliver that, then I can walk away contented with it, even if I'll probably still internally want more, but knowing that's not going to happen. As far as the Flash goes, it's at this point I'm not, because I'm just assuming everything's being rebooted anyways, regardless of what goes on with the Flash. I'm not really putting any concern in it as far as putting away the Snyderverse or anything like that, because that's happening regardless. So I'm okay. I'm basically watching both Flash and Aquaman 2 just kind of as a last hurrah with these versions, these characters. And if there's cameos by Gal or there's gonna be stuff with Ben's Batman and stuff with Henry. Can I please speak, Eric? I really have a lot I want to say. So
I'm just saying yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, so I'm looking at that as kind of last hurrah. Because I have my issues with the first Shazam, mainly primarily the headless Superman cameo. I'm kind of like maybe I can skip Shazam 2 and I'll wait till it drops on HBO Max and watch it then. I don't need to take my time to go see it in the theaters. And Blue Beetle, like I'm glad for Cholo Maridueña to get the role because he's awesome in Cobra Kai. But Blue Beetle is not a character that I really care that much about, to be honest. So if I were more excited about DC on film overall, then I'd go and see it and support it. But like, I saw Black Adam 3 times in theaters because I was that excited for Cavill to be back and wanted to make sure I spoke with my wallet and spoke with my and just did my part. Like I can't force other people to go see something or talk people. I don't think that's my role, but at least I can do is put my money where my mouth is and say, okay,
and that's good.
If I saw it 3 times, I'm going to buy the Steelbook, so I'm going to have that. As far as anything that Gunn is going to announce, I'm just so discontented with that immediate decision of removing Henry Cavill from it. I'm like, announcer slate, fine. Maybe I'll go see a movie or two in the theaters once. I'm not going to go see it multiple times, and I'm certainly not going to get hyped for him. I'm just not going to I'm going to go in keeping everything at arm's length, saying, you have to prove to me you are worth the heartbreak. Like, exactly. My heart is just too, I've been so invested in this. Okay, so like between Nolan's Batman trilogy and then Man of Steel launching, I got so invested in the world of DC on film, particularly the DCEU with what Zach was starting. And I mean, here's the thing. When I came out of Man of Steel, and I saw that 8 times in theaters, I fell in love with that movie. And it's absolutely majestic. So my hope after seeing that film originally was, I want me as a fan, like if Nolan and Bale gave us kind of the most comprehensive Batman trilogy on film ever put so far, like a very self-contained version of the character that checks a lot of the boxes of the Batman mythology, not all of them, but quite a significant number of them. If we got that from Nolan and Bale, man, if we can get a similar thing for Superman from Snyder and Cavill, oh my gosh, I would be over the moon. Yeah. Zach went bigger than that, and I was all in for all of that. And, of course, we know all the whole story and everything like that. But, like, I've never gotten, other than the Snyder Cut, I've never gotten back to that point of excitement of being excited for the DCEU. Like, after Justice League, I mean, I was excited for Aquaman because, I knew that was coming anyways. And that was part of the slate, and I was excited for that. But, like, it's been such a roller coaster of emotions, and I'm proud of the push and what we did for Project Comic-Con and everything we did for fundraising and whatnot for AFSP and us getting the Snyder Cut. And I'm going to cherish that thing all the rest of my days for sure. But this whole process of hoping against hope for hoping to get the thing that I can be really excited for with DC on film, I'm kind of done. I'm really done with this. Like the Cavill's fire was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. And it's just kind of like, you know what? I've characterized from myself as a fan when it comes to superheroes. I've sort of characterized myself this way. I'm 60% DC, 40% Marvel. That 40% has not really ever let me down. Yeah. So when it comes to superheroes, I'm like, right now, I gotta be honest. The Quantumania trailer has my head spinning as far as like, what is this gonna do as far as leading into things like the Kang Dynasty and how they're gonna sprinkle things along the way to that, And I mean, I don't know Kang very well as a villain. I know he's one of Philip's favorite villains from Marvel Comics. So I'm gonna, I'll lean on his opinion or like listen to podcasts to get more informed about that kind of stuff. But like, Jonathan Majors is an amazing actor, and I can't wait to see what he's going to pull off with that. So in terms of my superhero entertainment, I'm kind of doubling down on MCU because I've just been so disappointed by the DC stuff and by the decisions that Warner Brothers is making. I was, for that brief window of time when James Gunn came in with Peter Safran, I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I thought we had Cavill locked in. And now with him being pushed out, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't keep doing this anymore. I really can't. Like, it's not worth my emotional investment to go into all this stuff, and like, look, if Matt Reeves is getting the chance to do his solo Bat film universe that's separate from whatever Gunn is doing, why can't Cavill get 1 or 2 separate movies?
Ant-Man's getting a trilogy before.
Let's say that again, Axel.
Ant-Man is getting a trilogy, and probably Venom is getting a trilogy before Henry Cavill ever got a sequel. So
I didn't get his solo trilogy. So that's where the frustration for me really is at. So when it comes to the whole selling, or licensing the Snyderverse to Netflix, I don't ever expect that to happen for all the reasons that Dave, you and Colbert and everyone else has talked about. But I can say this at least. Here's where I'm kind of behind it, in the sense of like, I think it's a really clear, definitive statement of me and plenty of other fans, Warner Brothers, we've just lost complete faith in you. Like, we have zero faith in you being able to handle these DC characters and being able to deliver on something that we're going to get really excited about. So this segment of the fandom, so that's what I think it's. Maybe that may or may not be the intention behind the people, pushing the hashtag, but that's how I'm choosing to look at it. It's just our way of saying to the studio, we've lost faith in you 100%. Like, I just don't trust you to do this well anymore. You might as well just pass it off to someone else who can actually make something happen. And hopefully that includes Zach's vision, so whatever Gunn comes out with, I'm like, fine, whatever, do your thing. I'm hoping that he gets it out of his system in his 4-year contract and then leaves. But he might stick around longer than that if things go well. And I maybe I'm just like, I'll just wait for the reboot after Gunn's universe.
Yeah. And you know what? There's that too. But when it comes to make something happen with somebody else, basically the only thing that was going to happen is 2 movies, and then that's it. That's the thing. It's like they want at least 10 years of shit.
And that's the thing. And if they're already gonna if they're allowing, and that's kind of goes back to the question of like, if they're already allowing Matt Reeves to make his Batman universe separately, like let Zach do his thing, and you can do that while you're creating your universe.
But that means they would have to give credit for Zach and and that's why they fired him because he'd still have to get.
There's that, and then a Batman movie doesn't require as much VFX and craziness like that as much as a Superman movies. So you have that also, but I mean, I get that, but then that's also at the same time, I'm still on the reservation of whether they're going to be, when it comes to that, Carrie, and you bring up a good point, is the fact that it's like, okay, if they're going to give him that to do his own universe and give him his money and all that stuff like that, it's like, are they going to have money to do another Batman? And and I've spoken about this, and I've been like, I don't know. There's still, from what I'm hearing, it still could be Robert Pattinson as the main DCU Batman, which I know a lot of us we don't like. Well, I don't like it. I certainly don't. But
that Reeves doesn't.
It's like, do they have enough money to do 2 Batman?
I could totally see a scenario where the studio just kind of says like, hey, look, Matt Reeves, you're going to do your movies. We're not going to stop you from doing the stories. We have to include Robert in our movies. We'll make a different costume, maybe, but or something, or maybe like different coloration of the costume. But like, we're just going to tell a story. We're going to include, Pattinson's, as Batman in this universe, but he doesn't have to directly connect. What we do over here in this universe, in the shared universe, doesn't have to directly connect with what you're doing in your movies. I kind of think they're going to go that, but who knows at this point?
Which, by the way, I mean, it does remind me of the fact that Bruce Timm's animated DC universe started off with several seasons of the Batman animated series, and then it led into a shared universe with Superman and the rest. So that Batman is this no powers crime fighter who's fighting all these like powerful villains without the help of these other superheroes, but we believe it because he's the first. And then you get all these other heroes, and then but if we have Pattinson getting all of his doing all his stuff, this is before, and then Gunn's universe comes in, and now there's this expansion universe with him in it. Then we can buy it for the same reason.
And the thing is, even within the Bruce Timm animated universe, there was enough there to say, like, yeah, it's the same universe, same continuity as the animated series because of Kevin Conroy and all the other voice cast sticking around, every like that, and overall same tone for the most part. I mean, there was variation, but like they did change the look of like the cowl looked different from BTS even to that third season when they did the redesign. And then even into Justice League. So there were variations. So if you, as a viewer, you could draw a line and say, no, the Batman animated series, even though it's Conroy on both that and you could draw a line and say they're disconnected if you want to.
And can I say, like, when it came to Justice League Unlimited, they couldn't really use Batman characters besides Batman, of course, because that was when the Batman series was happening, because so they couldn't use like Robin or Nightwing or Joker, like it was because the embargo happened, which I think it's pretty stupid, but like like so you can kind of like draw the line there.
The only slight glimmer of hope that comes to mind as far as Warner Brothers is when James Gunn noted that that they're still going to be doing these black label films. Like, well, obviously you have Joker Folie de Deux, but I mean there is that slight opening. But as you said, Dave, I mean, what's the budget of those films?
Low, super
very
low. And they're looking at it like villain. I mean, I would say that it's going to be more of a villain type movies or something like that. I mean, I know you brought up like what if Henry Cavill can do something? I'm like, but I don't see that happening. It seems like when it comes to doing another black label movie, it's going to be like $100 million or less. You can't do a Superman movie like that unless you're going to really break it down where he's not doing a lot of flying and a lot of Superman-y stuff.
He's just going to be leaping.
Because in the end, it's just like I said before when you just had me on, it really just comes down to Zaslav pretty much didn't have a choice because of how deep in debt Warner Brothers was. I mean, they had to go cheap, and that means they had to have actors who were not that high in the stardom. So they kind of had to recast everybody. They kind of had to reboot. He was caught between a rock and a hard place because of all the mistakes of the previous regimes.
Yeah, but it was said in one of those articles that DeLuca and Abdi did want to continue with Snyder's characters. And they were willing to give another go around with those cast members and continue that to some degree. We don't know how much, but I'm going back to Henry. Like, how in the world? Here's the thing I don't understand with how that happened. Like, was it just like a verbal and a handshake agreement that they were going to do like a solo Superman movie after he agreed to do his cameos? Because it's like for him and his representation to not get something in writing, like with Zaslav's signature on it, to say either I don't know if that's a contract or like a promissory note or what kind of legal document you need to say, like when you have your meeting with James Gunn and says, "I'm sorry, Henry, I'm already writing a different Superman movie, and it's not going to be you. It's going to be a different story, and we're resetting the universe entirely." Then Harry was like, "Wait a minute, I have a signature from your boss saying that I'm going to get my solo movie." So I don't know.
Apparently, there wasn't anything like that. I mean, if there was,
that's what I think was just so foolish about the whole thing.
Yeah. I think it was like one of those like verbal promises kind of thing, like, or maybe I don't know. I wish I knew the details of what got Henry back. I don't know if it was something with Dwayne Johnson and Aldo, and that's where I kind of go like, man, what did those people do? Like, when it came to trying to get him back, I mean, did they just promise the world to him? Was it all verbal? Nothing. I mean, I'm with you on that. It's like, what exactly was the agreement? Because
like when James Gunn was announced to be DC head, like Dwayne Johnson was very verbal about DC like before, and I don't think he still hasn't, said anything ever since he was like,
and James Gunn didn't mention anything about Black Adam, even though his wife was in it. It was very weird. It's all strange.
Oh, that was an awful. I'm sorry. Her line in the movie was
her cameo.
What they say about the gods who made whatever it was. That was
her cameo was dumb. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I will say this: like the fact that she was in it kind of underlines my belief that there's no question she is going to be in the new DC universe, but she's got to be a different character because otherwise, what was the point? Like, what was the point of her cameo if they're just not going to have any more continuity? They're just rebooting.
I mean, it's their lazy attempt to try and have that connective tissue that like what Nick Fury and Shield was in the first phase of the MCU, and I just don't think I don't think it.
They were trying to make that economist guy from the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker like the Nick Fury. That's what I remember hearing. And I think when they announced these movies will be the last movies of the DCEU, I think that's going to hurt them at the box office.
Really did.
It's like I'm gonna compare it to like Dark Phoenix. Like no one was hyped for that movie. It came and went. I saw it in theaters. I thought it sucked ass, and it just ended there. Like, and no one was excited about it. No one talked about it, and that's because they announced, hey, it was their last movie, and that's why no one was excited for it. So
I mean, like, I was excited because I liked X-Men Apocalypse and whatnot, but like. But I also knew going in, this is the last hurrah with this version, and it was a lame duck. It was a lame duck movie for sure. Yeah. That and New Mutants, those were like lame duck versions of the last of the Fox X-Men franchise because those came after the Disney Fox purchase went through. So
the worst part is like if they had made this is the X-Men, this is the Fox X-Men's last hurrah. If they had made that part of the marketing, this is the final brawl for it all, the war to settle the score, then they could have done something with it. But no, it's just we're gone.
And that came out right out. It was like sandwiched in between it came out after Endgame, I'm pretty sure, and it was sandwiched in between so many movies. Like it was, I don't know, like they should have. And it was pushed back a lot.
It was, and I mean, and who knows what's true, but like there's all the stories about how that went through massive reshoots for the third act, and one of the rumors was that because like originally they were gonna have instead of whatever alien race like Jessica Chastain was a part of, like it was gonna be the Skrulls. But Marvel was already having Skrulls in Captain Marvel, and I guess with how Jean and the Dark Phoenix powers like manifest themselves, like it was actually going to go into space a little bit, like some kind of like spaceship, and like so the rumor I remember reading about years back was that it was too similar, like visually and everything, to what Marvel is already doing with Captain Marvel. So
I mean everything.
And so that's what they forced them to do reshoots. So how true that is, I don't know. I would prefer, because I'm one of the few people who actually like Dark Phoenix and was willing to give Simon Kinberg the benefit of the doubt on that one. I would love to see the Kinberg cut and whatever the original third act was going to be. But I know Disney's never going to go forward with that. So.
There's a lot of like director's cuts that we really want to see. Like I really want
Spider-Man 2 with Mary Jane.
Yeah.
So many.
I really want to see Josh Trank's cut of Fantastic Four because
I don't think he even wants it out. Like,
he probably doesn't because of all the things he went through, but that was what Richard Donner felt. How Richard Donner felt until eventually years later, it's like, I'm over it, so I can do it now.
Yeah, it's interesting. But welcome back, Jose. Hey.
Thank you. I'm on my lunch break, so I got like 30 minutes to talk shit. No, I just realized I never, everyone gave their thoughts on the whole Netflix thing, but you didn't ask me, Dave. What I thought.
I didn't really care what you thought. No. What do you want to say? What do you want to say? Go ahead.
Oh God. It's just, I don't know. It's just like every week there seems to be some new hashtag thing that is just like, it's like, I don't want to say like ludicrous and like worthless and stuff like that, but I mean, it's like, honestly, it's funny to me because most of these people that are doing this hashtag know for a fact that it won't happen, and they know that it won't happen because they say it won't happen because Gunn doesn't want it to happen. He's not going to want, DC to be competing with two different universes at the same time. They're not going to do that. Okay, so if you know that's not going to happen, then what's the point? And why are you still just to be? I mean, I know some of them just want to do it just to be annoying, just to be like, we're going to spam Gunn and we're going to spam, WBD and DC with all this shit, just like we always did, just to get the noise out there. But it's like, it's I don't know, man. It's not going to happen. It's not possible. Yeah. Number one, because what are you going to do with these actors? Do you think these actors are going to want to go and be with, don't make me shut you up like Carrie did, Eric. Okay, let me let me talk.
You realize I
here.
just stopped talking already a few minutes ago, so you were just
yeah.
continue. I was letting you continue, so just go on.
All right. But I mean, it's like it's just people. I don't know. It's like they think that it's like when it comes to like the whole Make the Batfleck movie and this, it's like they think it's just so easy that these movies can just
They
be
don't
done,
happen in one day.
and all these actors are just gonna be like, yeah, let's do it. Like,
What are you talking about? They're waiting around for all this. They're waiting for
Yeah.
the
I mean,
phone call.
yeah, I know, right? They're literally waiting. I mean, Ben's what 50, and by the time anything starts going on, is gonna be like what 55. Let's say like a movie comes out, or it's like, okay, maybe that's maybe I don't know. Like, you guys know me. I'm a big Snyder fan. Obviously, I'm here. I've been here with you guys since like the beginning of all this, and it's like I'm a Snyder fan, but I can also criticize Snyder, and because I'm not like 100% a
Oh
Snyder
no, you can't do that.
devotee. And it's like maybe some of the choices weren't the best. Maybe he shouldn't have gotten an older Batman. Maybe he should have got a young Batman. Maybe I mean,
but at the same time, you got to realize, Jose, is like the fact that his story was going to end in like a Justice League sequel. Like there was only he wanted to have that Dark
and that's
Knight Return. But the thing is like the studio didn't want that. Zack did, and then that's the thing. Is like he wanted to do his own thing, and the studio didn't. But I can also see the studio going, well, why would you do that? Because we need a Batman that could be Batman for like 15 years
see
or
my
whatever the fuck.
my thing is like I love BVS. BVS is one of my favorite comic book movies ever. I appreciate it. I love that movie. It's not without its flaws, of course, and I can actually talk about flaws and I can criticize it, but I can still enjoy it. But did he really have to make BVS? Like when they told him, okay, we're gonna make a second movie and it's gonna be Batman in it, and let's put Wonder Woman in it, and then they're like, okay, let's brainstorm some ideas, and it's like, okay, so we're gonna kill Superman. Like, like did he really? Did it really have to go this route? Like, did it, with BVS? Like, I appreciate the movie, but did it really have to like I've heard other people say like comic book movies. There's certain types of comic movies. Obviously, there's the enjoyable ones, the fun ones that you can just watch them and just have a good time. Then there's the ones that are deeper. They have a deeper messages and they're more serious and they're more darker. Clearly, people didn't go to BVS to come out, with this dark, depressing, sad movie that it was, and it just it rubbed people the wrong way. People were not happy, and then the studio completely they panicked and they did what they did but at the same time, it's like the studio was there the whole time, and obviously there's test screenings with all these movies, so like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just the reaction to BVS was just...
He wanted to have an Empire Strikes Back, and I think that's what he achieved. To be honest.
Right. And it's sad because now we know. Like, if they would have just kept going, and it would have we wouldn't have gotten the Justice League that we got. But whatever, everything that we got, he filmed it. This was all filmed during that period when they were filming the movie. So obviously, it was going to be a lighter tone movie. It was going to have some jokes in it. Going to have a, not so dark and stuff, but an enjoyable, fun, action-packed movie. If it would have all gone down the way it did, but at the same time, we wouldn't have gotten this 4-hour epic movie that we got, because of everything that happened had to have happened for us to have this movie that we have now. Yeah. So it's just kind of hard to go back, to the past and try to see what if and what is, but. It's just, I don't know. It's just because now look at the position that we're in now. They got rid of Henry, which is terrible, which is like the worst. If you wanted to reboot the whole thing, at least you could have kept Henry Cavill. Like, even people that are the biggest haters in the world love Henry as Superman, and they want to see him as Superman. Yeah. They wanted him to continue, maybe with a different story, a lighter story, whatever. But now it's just it's done. It's gone, and it's going to be a full reboot, and it just sucks. And so, like, I know people, like, they get in there when people are desperate, they do, they go all out. And so now they're doing this whole hashtag thing. And it's just like, I wish people would just put their, I mean, when was the last time Zach posted anything about DC? Like, honestly, when was the last time he posted? Was it the turkey? I don't even know. Was that the last time he posted anything?
I think it was either his.
No, the turkey was like over a year ago. Yeah, I know.
Teen Titans go, maybe.
It probably had something to do with like saying my Superman or my Batman or birthday
Oh,
thing.
and that's another thing because he said, what did he say? It was like my Batman now, like past, present, and future. Oh no,
Well,
he said
Yeah,
future.
when the announcement for Henry was when Henry announced that he was coming back, Zach,
he
and
said, "I
as
can't
part
wait
of
to work with you."
Josh Horowitz podcast, he kind of hinted out, we look forward to working with you in the future, and that could be anything, but like a lot of us sort of took that to mean Superman.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, people want to. It's wishful thinking, but it's just. I wish people put more energy into like you say all the time, Dave, with Rebel Moon. I know, even though we don't have much to go by with Rebel Moon, but it's like you're doing thousands and thousands of tweets for to sell Justice League or whatever to Netflix. Why doesn't Rebel Moon trend like that? If you can obviously, if you have the numbers to trend,
same energy.
They treat it like it's a
side
project.
Yeah,
I have
like
thoughts on that.
if you have the numbers to trend, if you have the numbers and you can make things trend like that, then make Rebel Moon trend like that. Like there's no trending stuff like that for Rebel Moon. Instead, they're just pining over stuff that isn't probably never gonna happen, and that Zach himself is not mentioned at all. And just because Zach likes a thing on Vero doesn't mean anything. Because I mean, let's be perfectly honest.
He's a nice guy. That's what it means.
Zach liked the post on Vero that was talking shit about you, Dave. They were talking shit about you, Dave.
Oh yeah,
he
I remember that.
Just because he was tagged in it. So what does that mean? That he doesn't like you?
Yeah, I know, right? I know, yeah. But he continues to come on.
But,
now, what were you gonna say, Carrie, about like what your thoughts about like? Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to use a comparison of Chris Nolan. Does anyone expect, if you're primarily a Batman fan or a superhero fan, does anyone ever expect a fan of his Batman films to be as equally as hyped for something like Inception or Tenet?
Right.
And I just look, I love Inception and Tenet. I'm looking forward to Oppenheimer, and I'm going to be there to watch every single Christopher Nolan movie because I became a fan of his because of his Batman film. But they just don't. They just don't merit that same level of hype when it's a recognized character.
Then that means these people shouldn't say they're Snyder fans. Then, if they have Snyder, if they're like all about Snyder, then they shouldn't be Snyder fans if they're not hyping up his other movies like they are with it. And I've said that before too. Is like they many times I've been like they're more about the DC shit than anything. They just like Snyder DC films, which of course I do too. But at the same time, it's like yeah, I see what you're saying, Carrie. It's like if you have a Nolan, and maybe Dark Knight is up here, and then when it comes to Christopher Nolan fans, maybe that don't hype up Inception or something like that, or Tenet, because they're more about because it's not just hey, this is a favorite director of mine, but it's also a favorite director of mine, and this stuff I grew up with. These comic books I grew up with, it's both of those combined. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, and then I always just go like, I want you to admit that you're not just, you're more about this than you are you say you're a Snyder fan, and then you come at me and saying that I'm not a Snyder fan. And I'm like going, well, why the fuck am I like plugging the shit out of like his other stuff while you're just 24/7 plugging one specific thing?
I also feel like there's and I could be completely misinterpreting this.
Probably
the sense I get when someone says, "Don't hype up Zach," hype up Rebel Moon just as much as you hype up this other stuff. I don't know. I kind of feel like that's trying to say stop liking superheroes and just like this other thing.
No. I see.
No, you know what?
That's how I've been receiving that personally.
Do both. You can do both.
Honestly.
You could do both. You could easily do both.
And that's the thing. And that's kind of been my point of frustration. Is like, hey, you hype up. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm looking forward to Rebel Moon because I know Zach is awesome, and I expect to see what his original idea. And especially once we get it, maybe me personally, I just need a trailer because all the images and stuff he's released, like they look cool, but I don't have context or any indication of what they are.
But think about this. I
really want to see that trailer. So,
but think about like the people that want Zack Snyder's or Snyderverse to go to Netflix. What does Netflix need to, if they were to actually want to get those rights, guess what? You better hype the shit out of what Zack Snyder's working on at Netflix.
Yeah. And
That's
Netflix is like the worst with the market. Netflix releases
the marketing for Netflix is dog shit.
it's
When we
always
have
like a
more
month
to go
before the
off
movie
of,
comes
then
out.
for sure, I think. But like, I think a trailer is gonna like go a long way with that.
Yeah, it definitely will. But I'm just saying, like, if and that's why I got in back and forth with some people too. Is like, all right, if you want Netflix to buy this thing, then you better hype up what Zack Snyder's working on in Netflix, just like you're hyping up this stuff. You better put the same energy in. That's just my thing.
Like,
One of the funniest things I saw someone make a comment was I don't know why you Snyder fans are like so like trying to hype up Netflix to get even if they make Justice League 2, they're just gonna end up canceling part 3 anyways because they can't.
I saw that as well, and I'm like, yeah, that could be right.
Cancel everything. It's like it's true. Like they do cancel everything.
That's
It's like,
why
I'm
I kept
worried
on
about
saying
next-
like
I'm worried
Amazon
about
would be the
Zack
better
stuff.
choice. Amazon would have the money to like do both. Netflix is like struggling right now.
And they're
you know?
canceling shit left and right. Like,
Yeah.
And besides, in the Sandman show,
I
I
would be-
didn't watch the Sandman show, but like they couldn't even let them use like John Constantine. That's what I heard. But like,
Here's and the other thing too, to go back to what Dave has talked about before, like I mean, whether it's if it's Netflix, great, but like, hey, if Amazon or Apple decides to pick it up, like you guys have talked about, because they have more money and they want to create, if there's a way for them to license it out or something like that, then I'd be supportive of that 100%. So I'll also say this, like, again, I don't expect anything to actually happen with Netflix and the Snyderverse or anything like that, or even these other streaming services. I don't expect anything like that to happen at all. But I will say this, like, back in 2014, none of us saw the Sony Marvel sharing deal with Spider-Man happening. Like,
well, it wasn't sharing at first, though. That's the thing. And I know some people like came back at me with that too. It's like when at the end of the 90s, like Marvel was bankrupt, so they sold the movie rights to Spider-Man to Sony, to a Hulk to Universal, X-Men universe to Fox. So they sold all that, and then they couldn't utilize them. That's why we didn't see them when Marvel Studios was kicking in. They couldn't utilize those characters until they had an agreement, And that's the thing is like, if it could get to that point, we never know. Like James Gunn's shit could just fall flat, which the odds are against it. And I've said that many times. I'm not thinking that, oh yeah, James Gunn's here, everything's okay, guys. No, it's not. He's got all, he's like, wow. And if it gets to the point where they do start selling it for parts, then I'm like, okay, maybe then something could happen. But then at the same time, those companies will do what they want to do with such licenses or properties, whatever the fuck they want to do. And anyways, go ahead, Jose.
Look, no, there's always gonna be the the hardcore fans like in this fan base that are gonna be against everything. But a lot of fans are fickle. They're just gonna, they're gonna move on. I mean, there was a lot of outrage about Christian Bale, not being Batman anymore, and then Ben Affleck became Batman, and people forgot about Bale, and they were like, you know what? I like Ben Affleck's Batman more now than Bale did. I don't know
what you mean by outrage about Bale, because it was really clear that Rises was his last turn.
Well, I mean, people still wanted him to be Batman. I mean, people still want him to be Batman right now. So it's like, as soon as we get a trailer, a first look, whatever, at this new Superman movie, it's going to be a completely different thing because people are going to be on board with it. A lot of people are going to be on board with it. I mean, I've seen people that are outraged about Henry. They're like, well, I mean, it could be joking, but they're like, I mean, as long as the actor's attractive, then that's fine. I'll just move on. That's fine. And it's like all they care about is having a good-looking actor that's going to play Superman, and they'll move on with their lives a lot of them,
all they care about is him wearing the red trunks outside of his pants for some reason.
That's going to be
the tone of Superman Returns.
Like, do some Superman fans have a kink with wearing underwear on the outside? That's what I think.
I think they're the people who have that obsession don't understand that. Like,
what's this?
Oh yeah, so these are some images for my fan film I'm working on. It's called Red Robin, and it's like I've been working on it for like cool. I just wanted to share here's a shot I took. I'm gonna show like a few stills like so.
Yeah,
like,
go ahead.
Is that art or is that a photo?
We'll get back to what you're saying too, Carrie. I'm sorry I had to cut you off.
About the red underwear.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
you have a fan film you're working on, and that's pretty sweet.
So here's me as
that's
Tim
cool.
Drake.
Oh, you're Tim Drake. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Here's like a scene where Batman hangs a criminal brutally in Local's gym.
That's pretty sweet. I like it.
Yep. Here's like
not my Batman.
that's all Batman.
Batman.
This
My
is
Batman doesn't hang
Anarchy,
people in
the
gyms.
villain. What's that?
No, nothing. Oh, Anarchy. That's cool.
Yeah, he's the villain. You got Batman, and I tried to get Ben Affleck. He said no. Yeah, like some newspaper articles, like where Tim Drake is like collecting newspapers and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I like it.
You got Barbara Gordon.
Nice.
You got
Oh,
Nightwing.
Wow.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. And yeah, that's all I have so far.
That's pretty cool.
I dig
man.
it.
This is
Can't wait for
good.
that.
When people take their, spend their time
Yes.
doing stuff like this, that's good.
Yeah, capitalize on it. But Carrie, what were you saying? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Yeah,
off.
totally.
But I saw the thing. I was like, it's been down there for a while, and I was like, what's
Yeah,
this?
no. I was
Sorry.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, gonna wait until like we're all done with, Snyder shit.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think the Superman fans who obsess over the red trunks and want him to be the big blues Boy Scout and everything like that. I'm like, do you not realize that for like 20 years, Superman was made fun of because of those things? Like,
Yeah.
He's not that character anymore. I'm sorry.
I remember being a teenager in my 20s and talking about Superman and like people saying like, yeah, Superman's lame. Superman's not cool. Superman is super like. And when I was a teenager, when I was like calling someone, "Oh, you're such a Boy Scout," that's a way of saying you're a pansy. Like that's a way of saying you're a goody two shoes and like you're not like you tattletale on people. Like
all they care about is all they want to see is just
that's what a
Superman
Boy
tell
Scout
people that
meant
his
when
mom
I was
is.
a teenager. So like, why
There's
do you
literally-
why do you want that to be the perception about Superman? So
there's literally a whole kids book series called Captain Underpants. So the whole joke is how superheroes like Superman wear their underwear over their pants. And by
do we not remember like when
the way, a bunch of people that like, do you realize how? Yeah,
Hold on,
realize,
guys,
like I said, do you realize how long people have mocked this? And their response was, "Well, it's all in good fun. It was all very good fun, but we all
not from general audiences."
Yeah.
Like, all you have to look at is like the interview that Cavill went on before Man of Steel came out with Jay Leno when Jay Leno was still on the Tonight Show, and he's like, "Hey, the red underpants are gone." It's like, oh, probably a good idea to get rid of those, huh? And like, yeah, those don't look very like if Jay Leno, who is like speaking for, he's making fun of the red underpants. You guarantee you that's how a lot of people feel about it. They think it's stupid. They think it's silly.
Exactly.
It's a reason to
See,
make
but
fun
there's
of
still.
Superman.
You're not gonna stop this trunk stuff unless you completely get rid of them in all forms of media.
Yeah,
because they still they still use it in the comics. They still do animated movies and shows with him in the trunks. So it's never gonna go away.
I never understood
crazy to
bringing
me.
Batman's trunks back
of
too. I
him
never
in the
needed that
trunks.
either.
It's so annoying.
I mean, you guys know me. I'm no Snyder cultist. You guys know me. But as I don't like to go into the conspiracy routes. But it's really hard to not think that these people just use it as because of their hatred of Zack and his movies. When they don't say shit, about Tyler, the cosplayer Hulk Hoagland on the CW not having trunks. They don't say shit about him not saying trunks. He's the one.
One
He's
thing they
the
always
perfect.
talk about is
the most
one thing they
perfect
always
suit.
talk
Like,
about is
please.
just that one thing.
Yeah.
Like
You don't
literally,
hear-
Superman. From what I've seen, it's like basically like Walmart version of Man of Steel, and they love that shit. And it's like, you got to be kidding me! Like, what are you guys doing? Like, you guys just admit you just don't like Zack Snyder's movies, and you don't care about trunks. That it's just about him.
Good, yeah.
These same people, they don't care how the Batman suit, how the bat suit like changes every single movie. They don't care.
And why aren't they asking for Batman to have trunks? How come only Superman?
Yeah, there's some people.
I didn't understand bringing the trunks back to Batman at all when no one complained about them not being there for like the entirety of the New 52 run. So,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole, the backstory with the Trunks was the fact that when they created these characters back in the day, it was like
Yeah.
they were like Greek gods that were like,
Well, like based off strong men. And, like,
It was like the
strong men,
wrestlers,
so
like
they
the
were
Lucha
wearing-
Libre guys.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So it
Yeah,
was like a
yep.
representation of that. So it's like,
Oh, what-
okay, but now that's not the case anymore. We're modern day. We don't need that anymore. Stop it.
it's not relevant anymore. I'm sorry. It's just not.
It's just not.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess they're talking about like, I don't know, color scheme when it comes to the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like WandaVision put
Wow.
Vision and Wanda in the classic,
And I'm
costumes.
not gonna lie. It
Yeah,
looks
but
like
as a
Nolan
joke,
parody.
as a
joke,
Halloween
you know,
yeah.
As a joke but they're like, but it's also pointing at the idea of like, see, if we were to translate this literally from the comic page, this is what it would look like. So aren't
Exactly.
you glad we actually make it look, actually took a lot of care and put
Good
a lot
point.
of work into the suits, the costumes, make them look really cool.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have spectacle,
Yeah, I mean, like someone did a fan edit of like this is saying this is what Hawkeye would look like, what Jeremy Renner would look like if they used the actual in comics Hawkeye suit. And it looked awful.
horrible. Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Have you seen the Falcon design like in the original comics? It's terrible. It's like a goddamn
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's like the red and white leotard.
I mean,
Looks
that's
like a
that's the struggle that when it comes to live action is trying to because trying to create a live action suit that looks freaking legit. It's a difficult thing. And when it came to Wilkinson and what he did with, did he also do Man of Steel?
Yeah,
he
he
did.
did.
He did, right? Okay, but like just that, and of course, I mean, like I said, the BBS Batman costume is my overall favorite cinematic Batman. So good. I mean, it's the fact that somehow he created, the gray and the black. He did such a good job. Like when we first saw that image, even though it was like in monochrome, we all knew that it was like, oh, Zach fucking pulled it off. He pulled off.
And it was like the first live action suit to be in black and gray. Like,
yeah, exactly. It was like we all knew that Zach pulled that off. We're like, oh my god! Like we finally got not just an all black rubber, a bunch of panels that, of course, it was just like, oh man, he created a suit like that was very much reminiscent, of course, of the Dark Knight Returns, and because we know that he loves that movie, and he's even said that if he were gonna want to come back and fully direct something, he'd want to do a full-on adaptation of that because he loves it so much. I mean, that's what's so great. I mean, when we go back to what he did with BVS, I mean, that was essentially like he really wanted to make that movie, but of course, obviously they had to do something different, so he just had elements of it, and big elements, obviously, with the mech suit and everything like that, and the Superman versus Batman kind of thing. He just wanted to have his, he created his version of that concept. But yeah, it
definitely is the most comic to screen accurate adaptation that's ever been. And I know I still love the Bale suits, and I probably slightly prefer the Dark Knight. I slightly prefer the Dark Knight suit, but just because I love how it works with that world and the reasons for it. But I mean,
I like the Begin suit because he looks so beefy and he's so I
just like the story logic of having him make the second suit.
I totally agree with that too, and I love that. That's why I love that trilogy. But I just like the Batman Begins suit because he just looks like more of a beast in that thing. Like when you see that, I mean, even though he can't turn his neck and it's all like long and everything, but I don't know. I just really, and I like the fact that in Dark Knight you see that in the opening, scene with him, and then he realizes, hey, I need something better, and then of course goes to Lucius, and the
other reason why to kind of go back for a second, but like for me with Nolan's trilogy, like I got a conclusion to that story. Rises concluded it, and it to a degree where. Would I love to see Bale as Batman more? But I don't need it. And I was perfectly ready for Ben Affleck to come on board with his Batman once Zach got that going. I got a conclusion. I don't need more Robert Downey Jr. Tony Stark because I got to see his conclusion. Same thing, Chris Evans, Steve Rogers. I'm loving Anthony Mackie as as the new Cap, as Falcon Cap. I'm all on board with that because I got a satisfying conclusion to Steve Rogers' story in the MCU. Because maybe I've just been spoiled by those things, so not getting a conclusion to Zack's universe, the Snyderverse or the DCU, however when you call it, like not getting a solid conclusion to Cavill's Superman or Ben Affleck's Batman, and not being able to see that and emotionally experience that is what makes it really, really hard to just accept a reboot with out the gate. So that's a big factor in my frustration. Like in my ideal world, I would have loved for Marvel to have somehow cracked the code of making it so it really is like the comics set to live action, so it is an ongoing story. Maybe that means you just recast Tony Stark every 10 to 15 years, but they've figured out a different solution of just passing the mantle to different characters and putting emphasis on other characters that's going on. So the focus now is gonna be like Doctor Strange and whoever else and other so and Mackie and whatnot. So Sam Wilson. So I'm looking forward to a Rhodey's War Machine movie. I'm really excited for that because Don Cheadle's an amazing actor, and I think War Machine has been a little shortchanged in the MCU so far. So I'm like excited for the fact that they figured out that formula for passing the mantle without having to like fully reboot. So I really wish there was there was.
And like with the DCEU, they try to like instead of bringing Cavill back, they try to give it to Supergirl. And with Batgirl and stuff, and I'm like, it has not been earned yet.
No, definitely had not.
They're trying to force it on them, like when it hasn't been earned. I
don't know what the fuck they were trying to do.
Yeah, and
you guys can hear me now.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Carrie, about like the just having no closure, because I got to be honest, there was no motivation in me at all to, of all things, to watch the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies because of how badly the Tobey Maguire films like botched up in the end. So I really didn't have much of a motivation. It's like, oh yeah, I hear it's good. Yeah, I may check it out eventually. But it took me but then I had to go through that, and then when there's a third version, Tom Holland come in, it was because it was part of the MCU. I checked it out and enjoyed it. But then but now that we've got No Way Home, and that film essentially provides some nice closure for a nice little final hurrah for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. If we, assuming we're not going to get anything more, which we probably won't, that does motivate me to say, you know what, I am going to check out those movies, like the Andrew Garfield movies now. I'll be honest.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Jose.
Okay, good? I was sitting here like not able to talk, and you guys were talking the whole time. My internet's like acting up. I don't know what's going on. It sucks. But I gotta go anyways. I just want to say bye to you guys.
Appreciate it, man.
Hope you guys have a good rest of the stream.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Remember, guys, whatever happens, we have each other. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
The Snyderverse is the friends that we made along the way.
Yeah. Let me guess. The real Snyderverse is the friends we make along the way.
Yes, that's the way I just said. All right, see you guys.
All right, take it easy, Jose. Yeah, I mean it's interesting, and I kind of wonder too, like if we're gonna end up getting anything more. Like one of my things, like when the Kingdom Come thing, and that Gunn has promoted, and is there going to be anything that comes from that when in the 10-year plan? Is there going to be like obviously we have multiverse? Can there be that? Can there be? I mean, I don't know. Like that's why I'm just sitting here waiting, going, all right, let's see what Gunn has to offer.
I will say this. Yeah, I will say this about what Gunn has said about what his Superman film will be. I mean, I look at his description of it and I'm like, fair enough, because one of my big concerns with any new version of Superman is that I would sit down and watch it and I'll be constantly haunted by, they could have easily made this film with Henry Cavill. They could have easily made this film with Henry and Amy or whatever. But the way that he described the film is so different from the backstory of what we have with Cavill, then I'm like, yeah, it is different enough so that I could see it as a different Superman without any gnurring in my gut, but still, it's just the fact that there was no closure. I just feel like
we've had Superman on film since 1978 was when Superman the movie came out.
Yeah.
How many years? What, we're 5 decades into this thing, maybe more, and like we have never seen Brainiac in live action on the big screen. We got him in Krypton, and he looked kind of cool there. But it's
It's kind of sad.
It's going to happen in probably.
Yeah. It's kind of sad that every era, like the Christopher Reeve Superman, they wanted to have Brainiac in Superman 3, but that fell through. They wanted to bring in Brainiac for the sequel to Brandon Routh, but fell through. And Zach wanted to bring in Brainiac for Cavill, fell through. Is there like a curse with Brainiac or something?
So I've started. I keep having to tinker with my Man of Steel 2 script that I'm working on.
His script has it. His outline has it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got Brainiac, and I'm it's directly tied to stuff with the Kryptonian colonies and Krypton's technology and whatnot.
Did you see the Nick Cage animated trailer, Gary?
Oh yeah, that was good.
You should watch that. You should watch that. It's interesting because it was Lazy Droid Studios that made an animated version of Nick Cage's Superman Lives, and they have Brainiac all on there, and I was like, wow, like what they did, I was very, very, very impressed.
Very.
They did. I was like pretty. Just type in Superman animated trailer, like Superman Lives animated trailer, and watch it. It's pretty crazy because they show obviously it's Brainiac, that's the villain, and they did a pretty good job of of at least in the vein of what Tim Burton was going to be. But
I'm curious, does anyone know if Nick Cage himself has seen the trailer yet? That trailer, or
probably not. Who knows? He's not on social media.
He's too busy being a vampire or something.
Yeah,
I know. Well, I would say I do appreciate.
He's too busy being Nick Cage.
Although I do appreciate when someone asks Nick Cage if he was interested in being in Star Wars, and he's like, "No, give me Star Trek. I'm sorry." I was like, "Yeah."
Star Trek fan, but I think you know what, we got to we're gonna wrap this up because it is Sunday and I do have work tomorrow, and some people do.
So do I.
Yeah, I know. Sadly, I'm like, God damn it.
I wait for my job.
Yeah, I know it's a bank holiday tomorrow for some people, but not for me. My field doesn't get the bank holidays off at least. But no, this is fun as always.
Son of a gun, it's Martin Luther King Day. There you go.
Yeah, then it's considered a bank holiday, as they call it. As all the banks are closed, and I know some people
schools get the day off too for teachers.
Yeah, schools get a day off too. I don't get a day off, sadly. So
I don't either.
Have to work. I have to work. God dang it! But this is always fun, guys, and I appreciate of course the support and in this realm and everything, and supporting the channel and just kind of keeping the dialogue going. The various dialogue and sharing arts, sharing ideas, all that stuff. Draga, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what that finished art for Zack Snyder is going to be, and we'll definitely try to get it over to him so he sees it and acknowledges it.
Oh, hopefully he has seen one of my art before, on Vero.
Good.
I'm like, holy, that was like a big.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, when you're making something for somebody and then they acknowledge it, that's always great. But we'll definitely make sure that is we'll get that. And let's go around the horn. Thank you to Jose, of course, for showing up too. But Eric, go ahead and promote anything you need to promote.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Hardboiled Films, and be sure to follow at JL Motion Comic, because we do have every intention of kickstarting one way or another. And if you want to help out, hey, either if you think you can voice somebody, come in, or if you think somebody who could voice somebody, just have them call me. I'll have them DM me, and let's chat it. Let's work it out.
There you go. All right, Carrie, got anything?
Not really. If you want to find me on Twitter, ask Dave.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
All right. And then Axel Draga.
You can find me at Droga52 on YouTube, and on Twitter you can find me just by Axel R. Droga. And yeah.
There it is. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate, and like I said, I appreciate the support with the Patreon, and love doing it. And I'm definitely gonna get back to being consistent at least once a month. So I know December was crazy. That's
Holidays
why
are always nuts.
the holidays was always nuts. So we'll do this again in a month, or at least next month, and we'll talk to you guys soon, and everybody else. And I appreciate everybody watching. Smash that like, the thumbs up, and do all that, and we'll talk to you later.
Adios.